Series E.
Series E.
Series E, Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E.
Series E, Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now. Welcome everybody to Series E as we are getting ready to head into this week's Pro Night. Our 9 partner teams will be facing off against 11 pro teams here in Apex Legends. And of course, bringing you all the action, it's myself, Jamerson, joined by Tom T-Squared Taylor. Tom, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm looking forward to seeing these games. We'll see how it goes with the new zone changes, with it closing very, very slowly on round number 6. And yeah, it should be really fun. We also have a couple new orgs that are involved and some new teams that have been signed, so I'm sure they're going to be coming out hot.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. We got to see 8 games of the new zone that you were talking about. Zone number 6 moving extremely slowly, about 1 minute and 40 seconds to close. And that completely changes the dynamic of how the late game is played out, or well, a final circle is played out. It was definitely fantastic to see. And this is the format that we're going to be having tonight with our pro teams involved. Of course, like every night, we have $500 on the line, $300 going to first place, and $200 going to second place. And be all over after 6 matches, accruing points throughout all of them. Of course, placements matter. First place getting 12 points, all the way down to 15th getting 1 point, and every single kill point being awarded 1 point as well. So we'll see who ultimately ends up on top tonight. Last night, though, we had an amazing performance. This is, of course, our leaderboards, our overall leaderboards here for Series E for our partnered squads. And this is what we're talking about. Team Racer still sitting up top, 1,044 points across the 9 weeks. They have been this consistent.
Yeah, we got the powered by mobile graphic in the top right too. Let's gas them up. The first team to get to 1,000 points, pretty impressive by Team Razor there, and why not? They are a very, very strong team in terms of team fighting. They kind of bully our open teams, and they showed that they're able to team fight with the best of them yesterday. But it's a matter of what do they do on our actual pro day, and they tend to slow down a little bit. They get challenged by CLG. They mix between Trials and Skyhook. They also bounce around to a couple of different spots. I think we saw them griefing some Fragment West drops the other day too. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do. I think that Team Rockstar was really putting together a solid day yesterday. Team Intel obviously showed out, and it's going to be all about getting into the middle of the zone here. But I think if you're not playing Gibraltar and Bloodhound, you're absolutely crazy. I mean, you could rock the Crypto, you could rock the Caustic. We know if you're good at doing it, that's what you should do. If that's what you're doing in your LG, why not change it? But all these other teams, these copycat teams came through and they don't know how to do it. So just stick with the Bloodhound, stick with Gibraltar. It's so basic. Bloodhound's probably the most straightforward character and legend. Everybody played Bloodhound when the game first came out. We all thought he was absolutely horrible, and now he's being picked almost every single time. So it's been pretty fun to watch all the teams adapt. One team that rocks the composition very well is Solafide, and they popped off yesterday and won our open day. And I think they won 3 games out of the 8, which is absolutely insane when you think about the level of competition that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, this is our first Mobile One high performance moment of the evening. Glad to have a new partner on board with us, as Solafide had a fantastic start, slowed down a bit. We had Dudes Night Out giving them a lot of trouble throughout the middle of the tournament, but then they picked it up right up again at the end to take the ultimate victory. But it was a narrow margin. Their victory yesterday to come out in first place. But we know that these boys can frag, that these boys can really push the limits on the lobby. That's what they were doing, taking team fight after team fight, maybe bit off a little bit more than they could chew at some points, but still, they are always up to the challenge for any fight. This has been fantastic to see their growth over the last year now. Nice play coming out from Gentrifying here, as we saw them also getting into a lot of fights over in the southwest side of the map, and teams like Aqualix and others who were in that thermal side just kept running into them. This was a nice play out of them when they were I believe, coming in for a third party during this game.
I really only saw one mistake from them yesterday, and I believe it was when Resulta didn't res either Designful or Gentrifying when he had an opportunity to. He was just playing a little bit too safe. But again, it's a lot easier when you're casting and you can see the multiple points of views and what's going. The game kind of slows down when you're in the middle of everything. It's so much more faster paced. But they played very flawlessly whenever we were actually on their screen. And I think it was the first game that they popped off extremely hard that we didn't get a chance to see exactly what they were doing. But they land over towards Thermal, which you're seeing right now. They got contested a couple of times, and that's the last team that you want to contest, obviously. It was surprising to see, I think it was TPM was their team name, over towards the Intel side, which is Sorting Factory, winning numerous fights back-to-back and ending it with a teabag. So it was a pretty funny day yesterday. But again, the highlight for me was the changes. We obviously know that the patch came out, and it's all about that round 6. All these teams are going to adapt. I think we only saw a max of 4 teams in one of these very slow end zones. I'm expecting a lot more today, especially if we get a lot tighter zones, maybe over towards like the Fragment side or the Skyhook side when teams are sharing buildings. But we have a 50-50 happening over here towards Lava Fisher.
Yeah, it's Team Razor. We were talking about them earlier on. How do they adjust here on the pro day? And this is the adjustment early on. They're going to be swapping over their drops to Lava Fissure. Hakulo going down. Na'Vi is here to challenge them. And oh boy, this is a new Na'Vi roster, by the way. This Team Razor already losing out on 2, and it's all up to Zara Tricky to try and clutch this one up. We do have one on the other side of this door. Zara Tricky tries to peek with that Mastiff, but he's already given them the old Trixie do got out of there, and Zara Tricky now fighting in a 1v3. It's gonna be very difficult here to even try to get out, to survive, to try and even maybe rat it out as he scans it and realizes, yeah, there's not much I can do here. We'll see. He does have the Mastiff in play. Don't know exactly what the armor situation looks like on Na'Vi's side, but he's getting fully pushed. Only hits for the 11 on that first shot. The newest additions of Na'Vi, Nesh and Kuya coming in strong for Na'Vi.
I'm going to put that on mercy only, honestly. If I get a knock and the guy's name is Gaming Warlord 69, my confidence is just going to skyrocket after that. There's no way I'm going to die in a tournament to Gaming Warlord 69's team. Just not going to happen. So Pop-Tarts over here, they're getting contested on the refinery side. Wouldn't be surprised if it's another European team. And they tend to get contested whether they're going Epicenter, whether they're going the refinery side. It seems like they almost get chased to wherever they're going, because you could even be landing over towards Survey. But great angles here for Blight, and he's going to be able to have a decent setup here with Charge Rifle and the EVA 8. So exactly what he needs is the Gibraltar to get the shield going, but his bubble is being used perfectly by this player, and it's third impact. Jazaz going down first. Fat Fruit Ninja is going to get knocked as well, so they're going to answer out on both sides. But it looks like Blight really wants this armor swap, so it's a very heads-up play coming from Blight, especially because there was a blue on board. He has to reload very shortly and doesn't have his bubble, so this is going to be tough.
Yeah, only hitting for the 6s. Don't want to fight that medium range with that. Pulling out the Charge Rifle as well. This is looking dire for Team Pop-Tarts now, as he will hit that bat and get 75 HP to at least to work with. But again, his loadout is not the greatest, and it looks like he's just going to try and back away from this. And oh boy,
third
Team
party
Pop-Tarts
strictly
now getting challenged here. Yeah, you got the third party coming out. Zicky getting thirsted and finished off. We'll see. Blight will use this opportunity to try and heal up. Maybe he has a moment to go for a bubble res. We'll find out in just a moment here. But the scans, excuse me, the pings are coming out from his squad. Only hits for the 9 on that first Charge Rifle shot. Fortunately, nothing really coming of it. Here is the bubble res coming out from him, though. We'll see. He's not inside. Doesn't get the animation, so it's a slow res coming out from him. But he'll still be able to get Farmer Lucas up at the very least. Here goes the second res, and it looks like he'll be able to get it successfully off. Do they have any heals, though, to be able to continue this, as he does get hit in the back now, drawing all the attention away from the rest of his squad as Farmer Lucas is able to heal up for now. So Blight does get his team up, but for how long? How much longer can they survive?
Nice play by Blight, but I can't believe he just didn't wait for his teammate to crawl, or at least just ditch the res and then res the guy that's actually in the bubble. You could res 2 players by the time you get that 1 res off. That's a slow res. But either way, nice job by Blight. By far, in my opinion, strong on Gibby. That just seems to be what he plays so well. Snipe down over here, rocking the Crypto instead of Bloodhound. This is going to be pretty fun to watch. See how he plays with this drone and coming in instead of playing Bloodhound. So we've seen Snipedown play at least 3 to 4 different characters in competitive, and this is the first time I've seen him play Crypto.
Yeah, TSM talked about this, or Imperial Hal did a couple days ago on Twitter. I remember discussing or him discussing basically how TSM really want to try and figure out this new meta right now. Here's the EMP coming out from Snipe Down. It's just used as a cautionary EMP, forcing back teams as they are already in position here in Train Yard now. So they successfully deflected one team at the very least, and Reps with this charge rifle got a lot of shots behind it as well, and so he should be able to get the purples for his squad up.
Make it here.
And I wonder where this zone's going to go. We can't see the mini map right now and haven't seen the map in quite some time. But the way that they're locking this down, I feel like it has to be going over towards train side. And they're obviously expecting this one to continue to pull over towards the north side of the zone. Typically it does. But is it going to be a full train pull? I feel like a lot more teams would be going on over there. Now we see what Sentinel's doing, and Sentinels would be the team that wants to sit up here and just cause havoc for the best gatekeeping area. Typically, you want to do this if you had the Gibraltar up there to help out where Senox is, but he's just going to try to play sneaky and just be patient as the rest of his team just distracts towards the bottom side. But that crypto drone is going to spot him out, so that's tough for Sentinels. It looks like Cooler is the team that they're looking at right now. So now the teams really want to start to posture over towards train side, but they're afraid to go in because they assume multiple teams are just over there. It's only TSM right now.
They do have the squad to bunker down if they need to. They've got the Caustic, they've got the crypto as well, and the EMP was used by Yuki just beforehand. Excuse me, by Nasky just beforehand, as we do have huge swap ups in basically how they're playing the roster now. So Yuki off the Wraith, it's going to be the Caustic for himself, as Nasky going back to a support character again on that crypto. Solifide controlling the choke just north of them from Thermal, where they generally drop. Looks like they do have a team ahead of them. The Hamlock in the hands of Resulta, as Designful did take some poke and he'll back away to heal off. It's Na'Vi was on the opposite end of their crosshair. Na'Vi will just back away from this. So our EU representatives really running this Caustic crypto composition here, as now Na'Vi, they're not really under any pressure to try and push that choke and decide if they want to commit to that or just go another route for them, as they do just completely give up the high ground, dropping down over into the Hot Springs area. Gentrifying, though, with the high ground angle to try and peek out, but he does get cracked for his efforts. So Lafide will just maintain this control over the choke.
It's going to be fun to see how these Caustic succeed towards the end game, and we have some of the best Caustic teams here in Series E with our EU teams joining up. So Solifide with the shots across the map. Nice shots coming in from Gentrifying. He has plenty of ammo, and it's almost a gold R301 there. So not surprised to see Designful with the scout. Typically 1 to 2 players on Solifide will have a scout. Results, I'm curious to see what he has. Probably something around the same thing, like a Mastiff and maybe a Hemlock, another mid-range gun. So there's the bubble, there's the scan. They're going to find out. This is probably pulling towards train, and pull up the mini-map for us. Let's see exactly where it's going to go. They don't have much distance to cover. And then there's an overhead of the map, but if we could see the mini-map from their point of view, that'd be awesome, because then we could see what TSM is going to do based on what they're going. So that's zone 2. We know where that one's going to go.
Yeah, a lot of teams posturing for quite possibly staging more than anything else at this point. Or is it just TSM doing a really good job of keeping teams out? For now, we are on a board with Cooler, who are still in this tunnel connector area. For now, I'm surprised by basically the lack of action. We had our 50-50s at the beginning, and a lot of times the Pro Knights action can pick up. It's Applejacks, unfortunately. Actually, never mind. They are intentionally sitting with their armors out to make sure that, of course, they won't get hit by EMPs. Na'Vi got knocked by Albraleli, so Team Liquid in the area as well. And there it is. You can see it is seeming to pull more down towards staging. And we'll see, though. Sometimes the ring can be unforgiving. Albraleli taking some damage, though, as he does have to back away for Team Liquid. Team Liquid now just hard playing the north side of the zone currently. They're one of the squads, NA squads, that are trying to pick up the crypto and Caustic composition as well.
I think they can rock whatever composition that they want, but Albraleli is one of my favorite players to watch because he could play any single character, and same with Nocturnal, same with Flanker. They're really versed in any type of composition that they want to run. So this is the perfect time for them to test out exactly what they want to do. Personally, I think this composition that we see right here from Team Rockstar is the strongest by far, especially what we saw yesterday. I think other teams are going to catch on to that too, but now we see what they're doing, and they're one of the teams we've seen with the hardest gatekeep so far. They've been playing Edge, and if you're playing Edge, you're going to have to take these fights. You have to be ready because you're going to have the decent amount of loot. R301, gold barrel stabilizer, 2x purple mag, that's perfect here, and it looks like they're going against, I believe, NPL.
Yeah, NPL, they've got the high ground angle, and they're the ones that are going to try and gatekeep Rockstar. Rockstar have been kind of rotating in a way where they try to avoid a lot of the fights now. This is kind of strange, I would say, at the very least. Them coming, of course, all the way from Lava City, finding themselves at Tree now for a circle that ends up basically over at staging in the train area. So we do have the damage coming out, and now NPL, you have to make sure that their back is cleared as well, and the crypto drone has been cleared by Team Rockstar. Dupe just upgraded his armor, but Matt Pickett just on the front line goes down. Gonna be a 1-for-1 exchange though, as Dupe with that massive was able to get a knock, but it's all up to Dupe here. Won't be able to try and get that thirst, but again, left in this 2v1. How much does he have left in his tank? It looks like he was able to get pushed forward. Now with the aggression, he's able to get the trade and brought it down to a 1v1, and he clutches it up for Team Rockstar.
Yeah, because Dracos just ran in there like a psycho. He already took so much damage, and then he continues to pressure there, but he's going against another Gibraltar. I think he just got a little bit too overconfident with that shield. There's no reason that you can't just back down, hit one cell, maybe hit one battery. To go and charge in like that basically was suicide, and they're fortunate that Pickett even got knocked right there. Otherwise, that would have been a complete massacre. But either way, nice job by Dupe. Third impact making their rotation now. They're going to be stuck having to fight a team probably in the train tunnel, because I guarantee TSM's already been gatekeeping any teams that try to make their way over there with long range. CLG finding themselves in a little bit of a skirmish, and now it's up to Madness with no armor, stuck inside this building. Not a good spot to be. It's Albrelli and Team Liquid on their case.
And they are out. TSM up on the high ground. As you can see, they want to try and get involved as well. So Imperial Hell putting out the portal for them, see if they can get involved in this. But there were no trades for Liquid. Snipedown and Imperial Hell, though, are still on the front lines, trying to peek this one out to see if they can take advantage of it. Might even be able to just vulture up the additional loot that Liquid might not be able to recover here. We got the drone being used by Snipedown to scout out position, but he's got to be careful here. Again, Crypto can be quite vulnerable. He is flying in that drone, but it looks like TSM are safe for now. And just keeping an eye on this north side. Gonna keep Team Liquid at bay as Imperial Howl just peeking the angle, sees all the loot. Go ahead and slide in. Is this a little bit over aggressive? Here comes the EMP from Snipedown, but it looks like the drone was cleared, and he's getting pushed on. Albrelli right on top of Imperial Howl, and Howl is able to get into the Wraith queue just in time. Here's Snipedown to cover his retreat, as well as Reps has shown up too. Good coverage coming out from TSM, but it's just too much. Third impact are here with the flank. Imperial Howl, Reps down now. It's all to Snipedown to try and survive for as long as possible. But oh boy, what a disaster for TSM.
I feel like Hal was expecting the drone from Snipedown to spot out that player that clambered up on him, and that player just caught him so off guard that typically Hal's tracking is way better than that. I don't think I've ever seen Hal so spooked over towards the side right there, and he had to queue out immediately, but unfortunately they didn't work inside the bubble. There was never a defensive bombardment used. I'm not sure if it was even up, and they got pinched hard between Team Liquid and Third Impact, who's also having that same idea where they want to go rotate over towards this edge. Now, we'll see if they continue to fight, because this zone will rip them apart if they don't start to rotate.
The team that's getting ripped apart right now is Team Rockstar. EMP connecting onto them, slowing them down, but Dupe, his armor has already been cracked. He does hit that bat, but he still needs to get the medkit off, at the very least, to get back into this fight now. You have to do it soon. The zone's going to start closing and pressuring them. The bubble has been used by Dupe, and the drone is just so much information for whatever squad that is, and Dupe might just go down to the ring. He does. No, never mind. It's Team Pringles throwing in that Nox gas grenade, and here might be the death blow. Matt Pickett cowering in the corner by himself. The zone now pressuring him, and Team Rockstar are wiped off the map. Team Pringles picking up the +3 with the addition of Kubsky filling in for today.
Cubsy is a great fit here for Team Pringles again. This is the second time he's filled in. he's going to really help them with their decision making because they have so much individual skill and talent. You can see the placement there from the caustic gas, and it was just amazing that he filtered all of Team Rockstar basically into the zone and under the bridge. Pickett really wanted to help his team, but there's nothing they could have done. Pop-Tart's stuck inside of the vault. They're going to be taken out fairly easily. Not sure what team's there, but they're also fighting another team over towards the side. That's Sentinels having to deal with this team really starting to push hard. That's a great thermite, though, from Senox.
Wonder if Cooler just decided to give up this position and moved on out. And we do have the ring pull, of course, going down towards staging. Let's see if any teams can get on in. LG in a fight with Solafide right now. Xron getting a knock there. It's the only one trade as Sanya is the only one to go down for LG. We'll see how much longer Solafide can survive for. You have the hip fire coming out from that charge rifle, but it's the Volt to finish him off, and Ron should swap weapons here as he's got no more ammo left in that Volt. And that's going to be Solafide going down in top 11. So they don't get the extra placement point for themselves. Play coming out from LG here, and it looks like almost all of our EU representatives really running that caustic crypto composition. It's Rice Krispie Treats, though, that have basically one of the winningest positions here for this circle. Again, these positions do change up a little bit now because of the new circles, and circle number 6, how it slows down. Ooh, Sanya not missing a beat here with that G7 scout, transitioning into the next team fight, able to get the knock and the thirst onto hundreds here. Stunny holding the angle for now with that triple take. The EMP is going to come down on top of that squad, counter EMP as well. And oh, this is the flavor of Apex. Cooler, yeah, they did move out of their tunnel here. They're making their push as Dell does get EMP'd, and it was third impact in their sights. They do go down to Brains, one controller in the area as well, as Sir Dell needs a moment to heal up, does get the bat off, and then will slow heal with syringes. They've got time to work with. There's still 20 seconds left to go. These 2 Brains, 1 controller are going to look and try and gatekeep them now as they have made their way into the circle.
Just so fun watching the current state of Apex with all these different team compositions, all these players testing things. Unfortunately, I don't think we have one single Pathfinder in this lobby. Now take a look at what Cheez-It's doing. Nice shots right there, but gets taken out. Mask, unfortunately, was connecting big time with that Mastiff, but Team Sentinels coming through with the wipe, and they're starting to pick up a lot of kills as they're one of the teams on the edge. They have a little bit of this zone to work with as this closes, but they're going to need their bubble if they're going to fight.
Here's Team Pringles in a precarious situation. They have given up the high ground, dropping down to the low with that caustic. They've lost out on hundreds. We saw him getting thirsted earlier on. As Liquid now, oh my goodness, Nocturnal with no HP, somehow surviving. He will ultimately fall. Flanker will go ahead and try and fall back to help him out, but Yuki has taken down, by Albralele here. And it seems like it's a 3-team fight. Albralele barely surviving, considering popping that Phoenix kit, but he will fall. Liquid just not able to make the moves fast enough. LG had a nice high ground angle as well, playing Gatekeeper up against them. So for now, you can see LG holding the high ground as the ring does pull to the northwest side of staging. It's Rice Krispie Treats who will have the building to play off of, but they are being contested right now. Is this Sentinels? It is. Senox has the entry kill onto Bird, taking out Caustic Warlord next. Sun going down. Sentinels just wipe out SKT, and now Team Pringles still stuck here on the low ground. We're down to 5 squads remaining. All of them full and healthy except for Team Pringles.
Right now, I feel like the 2 teams that are fighting the best are LG. Ooh, nice snipe there from Knock onto Rugby. Just talking about how I think LG and Sentinels are really putting together a solid game, but Rugby is going to get his face ripped off there from Knock. Still has 5 shots too. And it looks like possibly defensive bombardment, maybe a grenade coming up over towards where LG is going to be. I think they should probably save on other grenades at this point. I don't think they're going to be able to connect with those. Nice try though from Knock after getting that initial knock.
Yeah, they're able to utilize that crypto drone for that extra information to be a bit more accurate with the nades, just not connecting with them. Knock though still has this Kraber, and he's got an R301, and so his close range options not the greatest, but the R301 can still absolutely slap now as the ring is closing in. Round 5 is closing. Pringles are still stuck here on the low ground. They're going to get full sent on by Na'Vi, but here's the Nox gas grenade. They're going straight into the chamber of Stink, as it looks like, oh no, unfortunately, he is not in here. But he will be able to finish off Na'Vi at the very least. 2 brains, 1 controller now getting full sent on. Sentinels, he'll take out 1 with the help of LG. As Sentinels do have the high ground here, dropping down to the low. And they want to just get this thirst. So down to, I believe, LG and Sentinels here, as Retzi will go ahead and start charging forward on that Wraith. Senok setting up the crossfire, but with the bubble being thrown down, they will go and try and full send it here, but the constant gas is slowing them down. It's all of the Sanya left in a 1v3, and it's going to be Sentinels to take our first win of the night.
They had so many points too. I'm not sure how many kills overall they had, but team fight after team fight, that's the old Sentinels that we know and love, coming through with the cohesion, with the aggressive play, and they just catch you so off guard, but they're also great at disengaging because they win their team fights so fast.
That was nearly 3 full team fight wins for Sentinels there. And then, of course, at the end, they were picking up lots of kill points at the end. So we'll see exactly how much they have. But we are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 of Series E. back, ladies and gentlemen, to Series E. We had a banger of our first match there with Sentinels taking the win with a lot of kill points to back it up as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard to see how many they were able to pick up. And it looks like 14 kill points. That's how much Sentinels got, with LG coming in second place, 17 points overall. And Team Pringles tied with Na'Vi in third place with 11 points.
It's a pretty big game considering how stacked this lobby is. It's not 32 like LG dropped last week, but LG is still picking up where they left off, having another big game here with 17 overall. I love that high ground play that they took away from Team Liquid when Liquid holds that very popular area on the top of the train track. They went above and beyond that towards the backhand side and just sniped them right out of that position. So that was unfortunate for Team Liquid, but a great play from LG.
And we're seeing a lot of the compositional changes coming out here, but some teams still sticking to their guns, still running the Bloodhound Gibraltar composition. That's Sentinels, and they're able to utilize that extremely well. And I think they played that late game circle, I think, fantastically, especially in the mid game. They're really controlling that train pass and making sure that teams were gate kept. We saw a lot of the funneling to the north side simply because of the presence of Sentinels there, making sure that no one was able to make it through that choke, Tom.
Yeah, and I think that you have to be playing either Crypto, Bloodhound with Gibraltar here. I think Caustic is still good too. Again, if you are a strong Caustic team, don't switch it up. Play what your strengths are. But it just makes sense to me right now with the current meta. I feel like TSM snipe down on Crypto doesn't really make sense right now. It's nice to test out, but I feel like he's going to be a very, very strong Bloodhound with that Gibraltar composition. He's played Bloodhound so well for so long. Love watching him on it, and I think that he's going to be able to hit a lot of scans. I don't think that Hal would have been caught off guard there. They may have been able to get out of that situation a little bit better if there was just a little bit more information. But as long as you give someone like Hal tons of information, he's going to be able to get you into a good position. But for there, they expected that to pull over towards the train side, and it didn't. It pulled a little bit more towards the side. And then you saw 3 to 4 teams. Third Impact was there. Liquid was there. TSM was there. You don't want 3 of those really top teams butting heads, and it made it very difficult to get out of that situation, unfortunately, for TSM.
And so still the name of the game 2 years later, it's really important to make sure that you know your circles here. And I think a lot of the times our EU teams do have an advantage. They're able to practice. I was watching scrims this morning and really watching the late game circles to see how they're developing so far. And they do have that advantage. And so seeing a team like Luminosity and Na'Vi, they're definitely up there in the top 4. It's no big surprise to me, but Sentinels really showing up today. We'll see if they can continue this. We're going to go ahead and have a short mobile one high performance moment there for Team Sentinels, as they're able to really just finish out game number 1 extremely well.
Yeah, they were. And this fight wasn't very close because LG was on the back foot and Sentinels had so much momentum with just the amount of team fights that they won and the armor and perfect setup that they had. But this is that fight over towards the backhand side of Refiner where Third Impact got involved with Pop-Tarts and Blight had to fully back off because the third party, I believe, from Cheez-It came from the side. So that means Cheez-It's most likely dropping over towards Survey and Epicenter. And if those teams continue to fight, that's the same exact scenario that's going to happen over and over again, where they go at it, the third party comes. So they're going to have to rethink their strategy here. Maybe one team goes over to Skyhook, maybe another team goes and leaves Refiner and goes and contests where Cheez-It is. But that's the time that we saw NPL going up against Team Rockstar, where Dracos, I feel like could have just backed off a little bit, but either way, it was a nice job by Rakinishu, I believe, who's playing on the tag Dupe, coming through and doing what he does, which is clean up team fights, getting aggressive, and hitting his shots.
Yeah, there it is, the last shot there, taking out NPL really early on. And this was the moment where TSM just got a little bit over aggressive, tried to punish Team Liquid, who had just finished off a team fight there. Instead, here it is, LG. They're positioning on the southwest side of the map, taking the fight up against Sola Fide. And it seemed like they just took it in easy fashion. This was the northern car, 10 car pileup that happened. And really, a lot of it was the result of Sentinels here that just gate kept the southeast side of the zone, made sure that no one was able to come through here. And everyone decided that they were going to have to try and take the northern route here. And 2 brains, 1 controller. We know how good they are about being able to call the zones and having the location, one of the best locations on the map. Team Pringles, unfortunately, finding themselves stuck on the low ground, but Stink is able to just rat this one out. Well, Stink this one out, at the very least, on that caustic, and was able to take out Navi with the help of Sentinels, but Sentinels close out game number one extremely strong. Of course, a moment of pause here because of the caustic in their way. Sanya doing his best to be a thorn in their side, but Sentinels still take the win with 14 kill points all behind it.
Yeah, it was a very impressive performance coming in from Sentinels, but also LG too. And LG was just dominating last week. So I'm really happy to see that they're staying consistent, because that's kind of been their Achilles heel, has been consistency. They play really great, and then they have an off week or two, and then they come back and have another great time. But now they're stringing together back-to-back weeks, and yeah, it's still 5 more games to go, but I really like the way that they were playing that one, and they really started this whole crypto caustic meta in terms of being able to finalize it and playing it really well. But we're seeing a plethora of combinations right now. We're seeing TSM rock crypto in Gibraltar. I think Rice Krispies is rocking something very similar to that. Then they're rocking caustic actually instead. So you have caustic Gibraltar compositions with Wraith. You're seeing basically everything. But again, no Pathfinders, which to me means maybe one team should consider playing Pathfinder here, because if there is an area where you need the actual high ground, no one else is going to be able to have the high ground, and 9 times out of 10, that's an automatic win.
Yeah, the extra mobility of the Pathfinder, and it's kind of it's kind of sad to see, because Pathfinder's been my boy since day number 1 of Apex Legends. Just as a heads up right now, guys, we do have some server issues going on. We're trying to get everyone back into the lobby. We had a server crash, and so we are just repopulating the server for now. That's what's causing the delay. Just wanted to let you all know. And so we're not just talking for talking's sake here at Series Z, but I mean, there's still a lot to break down. This is an exciting season so far, even though we do have these server issues. We know that Respawn are working tirelessly right now. I saw Ghost Ayame on Twitter all day long trying to really source out the cause of it. And it's good to see that, of course, we have good people at Respawn and part of the EA gaming division to really try and help out our competitors, because, yeah, it's, I think, a really healthy spot that our meta is currently in. We're seeing so many different compositions. Now we really want to be able to see, of course, all of our competitors play it on an even playing field, where we're not having disconnects, where everyone has server stability and such. And so huge shout out to Respawn, huge shout out to EA, everyone that's been doing their part to help out, of course, the Apex landscape. So still waiting on game number 2, but it was Sentinels that took game number 1. Luminosity, not to be outdone, only down by 9 points. And so we still have 5 games left to go. There's still a lot of room for movement here.
Yeah, knock on wood, I haven't really been lagging out, so I haven't had the issues, but it's been with custom games, it's been with rank. Hopefully it gets fixed soon. But while this is happening, I just want to bring up the tough part about casting, Jamerson, is that we're not allowed to snack, man, because I could really use a Rockstar right now, a bag of Cheez-Its, and what else could we use? Oh, see, this guy's got, see, I have nothing here. I have absolutely nothing here in front of me. I need the setup. I need something. I need a smorgasbord of snacks while this is going on.
Yeah, this is my second one of the day, actually. It's kind of strange starting off the day at about 7 a.m. for myself. And typically I wake up about 30 minutes, 40 minutes before a show starts, just so that I have my energy. But this is definitely helping me out. So, yeah.
Nap
again,
guy, huh?
Oh, I wanted a nap so badly today, but we cannot nap on these. We can't sleep on the games, because we are in game number 2 right now, loading it up. And so we will get this started. It's Team Pringles, we saw, of course, able to make it to the late game. And, Stink really living up to the name on that caustic, doing a great job on him, surviving for a long time, but really committing to that low ground. Of course, they were a 2-man, but they still were able to make it, I believe, into like 3rd overall. Got a lot of kill points, or some decent kill points along the way as well.
There was just no way for them to get up top, unfortunately. The play was just for them to rat it down there and try to get placement. Fortunately for them, Na'Vi kind of just fell right in their laps, probably forced out, and everyone had the same idea that this little sliver of down low is going to be in, but it wasn't. Maybe a Wraith portal out of there, making their way over towards the side with a Q, and then catching people off guard from the back of the circle was going to be the play, but it just wasn't. They all just committed suicide down there, basically, and the rest of the teams racked up a couple extra kill points and made it a little bit more free for them to move around. But we do have Casellos out right now. Kubsky is in, so hopefully everything is good with Casellos, but Kubsky is a great fill-in for them. Again, I think that they have a lot of talent individually. they lack the experience in terms of being able to call the circles and call where to go on their rotations. That's exactly what Kubsky brings to the table, so they're going to be able to play very well today.
And we are on board with Team Pringles making their drop, of course, all the way down here on the south side of the map.
Yeah, and we'll see what kind of loot they get. You saw Hundreds was very paranoid about who was landing next to him and if actually they were going to get contested. Fortunately for them, they picked a great spot to land. No one really goes over there since it's a fairly new POI. Meanwhile, Team Razor, Hakula looking for some armor over here, but Zeratricky is completely stacked. Wingman Spitfire with purple armor to start this. He really feels like he could carry this team fight, and that's exactly what he's doing by getting aggressive. Double 35s, I believe, onto that Gibraltar or Caustic entering the door. Now Hakula finds armor, and they're heading directly towards him. So Zeratricky's going to come over and try to scan for Hakula very shortly, so they're going to be able to get information. That's exactly what he does.
Yeah, Hakula is a little isolated. So Zeratricky's making the move to try and reconnect and help out his Wraith. Just get tagged, drop down to about 10 HP, but he's here on the high ground. We talked about it. Not so many Pathfinders, so they're not able to capitalize off of this. Whoever this is actually challenging them here at Geyser. And this is what Team Razor do on the Pro Nights. They have to make the swap off on. It looks like it's going to be 303 actually here. And so this is a fight that, 303 is typically used to. Oh, it's Team Intel, yeah.
Yeah, Fury actually coming in. It looks like subbing in today. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do. They have laid a lot of damage onto Team Razor and haven't taken a decent amount in return. A lot of it has to do with this 3x longbow, which is great for the range that they have right now. Fury just can connect on 1 or 2 more shots. I don't feel like they're going to have the resources to be able to heal. Connects on 1 for 47, and they're all trying to race towards those crates, also the back, and maybe make their way over towards the cave so they can get a bit more loot, because at this point, both teams are going to be in shambles.
Yeah, and Team Intel's trying to move forward here. Getting some decent poke off. Not actually able to land those shots with the longbow quite yet, but he does have them pinned down. The charge rifle keeping that Bloodhound at bay, and they charge on in. Tempest from above comes in with that wingman, forcing the Q from the Wraith. Now they try to back away from the bins, but there it is. The first knock, Hakula to go down. We'll see if Zeratricky can get involved in this fight here, try and keep him alive. You have the bubble being used by Fury, to the aggressive one now, to get on top of them, and they take out Team Razor.
What's really interesting is, look, they're not running a Wraith. That's absolutely insane to me, but it kind of makes sense because the biggest strength of Wraith was you needed the Wraith for the end game. That circle was collapsing so fast, you had to go. Originally, it was a heal off between Wraiths, and it made the game so boring. You literally would just portal outside the zone, and it would be who could sit there and portal by themselves the longest and just queue the longest and heal the longest. You even used to be able to just cheese with the gold armors and do a lot of things that didn't really show the amount of skill Apex actually took. So now we're in the best place in terms of endgame, and we may see some Wraithless comps. I know we've heard a couple of teams talk about it in their interviews, and we'll see if it works out for them.
Yeah, NPL finding themselves in a fight down here at Dome. Bambino does get tagged up, and he decides to back away. Does have the battery, and he will go ahead and pop that as Cheese It coming in. It looks like for another third party onto third impact. Hambino with the gold armor starts hitting the res, but there's enemy Gibraltar actually spotting him out. It's Jazz versus Hambino. We'll see if Strictly goes in for the peak as well, but Jazz not going to be able to survive in the face of a Mastiff there. Hambino clutches it up for his squad. And it looks like third impact going down early once again, as now Cheese It. They've already got 2 purple armors and the gold armor on Hambino. So they're looking great for the late game. They just now need to make the rotation down here to the south, as we do have the ring pulling down here. NPL trying to poke away at the squad that challenged them at Dome, excuse me. As Dracos, we're seeing a lot of snipers being picked up across the server.
Yeah, 1000%. You got to charge those Evo shields up. TSM with a super fast rotation. In absolute shambles with armor. But it looks good with Hal with the R301 gold barrel purple mag Mastiff. Curious to see if he actually has a shotgun bolt on that, because he should be able to pop off with this combination here. And they're just scouting out exactly where they want to go. And we know that we saw the Dome side in, which means it's most likely going to continue to pull over here. That's why that fight was so important that we're watching. 303 takes a lot of damage. You can see Crypto goes down to hundreds with the triple take. Maybe you're going to see a portal play here from Cubsky to get a little bit more aggressive. They don't have a Gibraltar, obviously, so it's going to be a little tough to get back into this one.
I think the Nox gas grenade does go down for asking, and 303 will be given the moment to go for the res. Paradise brought back into this for now, but we'll see how much longer this happens as TSM actually catch out a team. It's Team Razor, or not Razor, excuse me, Team Rockstar. Duke going down, catching them out on the rotation here, and already they started off with all whites, and that's basically classic TSM. They used to move so fast on the rotations, going for the center zone. They realized, of course, they were over at Fragment East, and realizing that the zone's going to pull down hard and heavy down here to Dome, they made the move extremely quickly, like you know that they can do. And they're going to be able to pick up all this additional loot, so very nice of them. It's CLG, though, of course, coming from the opposite side of the map now, coming down from Skyhook. They do have a team in front of them as they made it over to the north side of Lava City. Got a team in front of them as Rice Krispies actually took out Solo Fide.
Yeah, they did fairly clean, too. I don't think anyone got knocked there, but I'm just absolutely in love with the meta that we have right now, because I remember when you would be stuck with gray armors in scrims, in tournaments, and that's what you had the entire time. But a team like TSM deserves to get rewarded for putting down damage and rotating so early. You shouldn't be stuck having to fight someone with purple or, you know, gold armor at that given point in time. So we're in probably the most balanced area as a competitor that you could be for Apex, even though it's a little crazy with the amount of compositions that we have. It's going to be up to these players to go and learn to adapt, and TSM is not interested in holding a building here. They're very confident with holding this spot, which is a fairly popular endgame directly where they are. So they're going to continue to just bounce back and forth here and just own this spot, because I've seen plenty of zones end right in front of them.
Yeah, and this is typically the spot that they actually hold, and they're playing it once again, and it looks pretty quite expertly as well. LG, though, in a spot of trouble, Asanya has been cracked, and LG almost no shield left. The EMP really doing nothing because they had no shields, but they're getting absolutely full sent on right now. It's 2 brains, 1 controller on the other side of this fight. Asanya the heal inside the zone for now, as one of his barrels does get popped now. It's going to be a 2v2. 2 brains, 1 controller. To try and make a push on in, but not having that caustic for the entry is going to be difficult. But Sanya goes down to tech. It's all to Ron here as he tries to push out, tries to punish the res, but he's got no HP behind it. He does go down, and Bowser be brought back into the game. Ooh, but not for long.
Yeah, not if Team Liquid has anything to say, but Nox most likely going to be chased down here. I guarantee they use all the resources to try to catch these guys. You can see Portal already being popped. Abrali really wants to take that Portal, and he's going to. Getting aggressive on a Nox, has the gold armor. Why not? Finishing off Bowser there, and now they're just cat and mouse game with Flanker playing the perfect caustic plays here and putting the gas trap on top of the portals as he should. They're going to finish off Tech, and perfect third party here from Team Liquid.
Yeah, and a lot of loot to come up with it as well. It looks like they took the trial side. The very fact that they've got 2 gold armors along with a gold helmet on Abrali. It's absolutely insane now. A lot of teams just completely avoiding Skyhook because of just the absolute pressure up top on the north. You got CLG, you got Liquid all up there, and you do not want to take the 50-50s up against them now, as it looks like 2 brains, 1 controller do get finished off there. And TSM will be able to just walk in freely the rest of the zone. Na'Vi, though, over at Lava City, it looks like they got into a small engagement there. Might have been TSM poking away at them as well from their south. They do have the charge rifles, I believe, in the hands of one of them. Might be reps on that Gibraltar. He's getting ever closer to evolving that shield of his. It's Intel, though, in a fight over here on the north side, over at Sorting Factory for now. Ooh! Holding that angle on the portal, will be able to get the knock onto Strictly, and here it is, trying to punish off the back of that with the defensive bombardment. See if they need the EMP for this one, but they don't get the confirm, they don't get the conversion on the knock quite yet, but there it is. Fury with the wingman will finish off Strictly now. They want to go ahead and end the fight here. Intel continue to push forward off the back of this Phony, a little bit disconnected from the rest of the squad. Doesn't look like Intel will be able to get much more off of this.
Yeah, and Fury's like, come on up, guys. Like, get up here. You just clamber up the side. Did that pretty quickly too. I love the reaction time coming in from Team Intel. Immediate knock, immediate get into the drone, defensive bombardment. Zero chance of being able to get away there for the enemy team. Everything was perfectly played there. And now they're just gonna, not get too aggressive and let that team possibly make another mistake by going through the banner or whatever they need to do to go in position without putting themselves in a very bad spot. And this is exactly how you go and play this one. If you're Team Intel, that guy is going, oh, there's a bloodshot there. I believe maybe Yuki got the finish on to Bambino. No, that player actually does get out. So that was a bloodshot, unfortunately, for Team Intel. But one thing that I want to pay attention to is the fight between Na'Vi and TSM as we see what's going on with Cooler, because if TSM gets contested by Na'Vi and another team wants to come behind TSM, that's the only way they're going to be taken out of their spot. So Na'Vi has to just kind of hope and pray to elongate the fight with TSM until that happens and then avoid the actual third party. One team could eventually get 6 kill points just by swooping up behind them. But Cooler doesn't seem like they're going to be the team to do that. They're locked inside of a really powerful position here with the Caustic. And they're going to continue to be able to find out where these zones are.
Yeah, excellent building control right now coming out from Yuki, as he will cover the last remaining door basically left in that compound. But over here at Lava City, we do have a lot of teams funneled up here and bunched up. It's going to be Pop-Tarts. We had Na'Vi as well just across the ways from them. They're going to have to move in 2 short minutes here into the waiting arms of TSM, top of that hill. We'll see exactly how they can do that. For now, that is, of course, definitely when you want to have that portal in play. TSM making sure that their back is checked for now. That's the biggest threat really ahead of them. I'll allow the teams to the north to fight for now, but they have given us the ground. They've moved away from those blue bins, playing more over by the truck. We'll see in about 2 minutes whether or not the ring will continue to pull on over here. I mean, TSM had, fantastic games playing this position beforehand. We'll see if they can recreate that for now. Looks like we do have a fight. Rockstar now down to just Matt Pickett. He's one of those players, one of the teams that are stuck over here at Lava City. Got the charge rifle out, hits for the 30 on the goal. The Gibraltar's got that blue. They go for the res, and of course, we saw them earlier on losing their teammate as Albert Laley will find a knock onto Fury. So a lot of fights taking place here in the mid game.
And that team obviously missing a player, so now Pickett's going to continue to add pressure. And I love the way TSM was playing that. Again, they were aware of the situation. If too many teams come over towards the side, that's going to be a problem. But full send onto Team Intel. Great massive shots coming in. That's going to be Team Liquid. But now in a 1-on-2 situation against one of the better teams here, I don't think it's going to happen. Amazing shots there with the charge rifle are going to connect. But he's so far away from his team. And I understand you want to go and anchor there, but unfortunately for Tempest, as a crypto, there's zero chance that you're going to survive with 2 players of Team Liquid flying at you like that. And we know how aggressive Team Liquid is once they get that number advantage. You saw what they did to do Brains 1 controller, the res coming through. Flanker's going to get back into this one. Madness, unfortunately, goes down. Looks like Na'Vi gets a part of that. Frex is going to get the banner, but no chance of getting a res here. And I don't think they're in too good of a spot being out in the open. There's so many different angles that they could get collapsed on.
Yeah, the nearest one, it looks like it was just used, by the way, over inside of Dome. As Team Pringles now making their way in. They did give up their position, of course, dropping out of that building now, coming in through the south side of this ring. And currently, good scouting coming out for them as well, checking every which way with the EMP now as they try to open up a path for this. Now, they can play these walls, but a little bit dicey here as Kupski now try to push up. Only hits for the 9 on that R99. He's only has 6 shots remaining here. So Team Pringles, their economy not looking the greatest. It's Pop-Tarts here on the eastern edge. They're able to make their way out of Lava City before the other teams as well. And so they take up this position. TSM gave it up. Now it's Pop-Tarts that are looking to pick up these kill points. Hitting for the 93. That's a full connect coming up from Blight now. He's going to go ahead and yeet in the nades here. 2 coming in with those frag grenades. No connects quite yet, but he pulls out the charge rifle one more time. Here's another nade. Will he be able to get the Hail Mary explode? No connect. Unfortunately for him, dishing out a lot of damage here to Liquid though in a fight over at the caves as they do get hit up by the EMP, and Flaker will go down once again. It's Applejack's in their way. Nocturnal pulls out that Mastiff. Now Applejack's winning out the fight currently but they do lose out on one. Lion to go down. We'll see. Liquid have the numbers here to try and push this advantage, but Plane holding down with a massive. He will get dropped by Albralele. Kenny, the only one alive now on the crypto here for his squad. Trying to play keep away with the portals here, but how much longer can he survive? Here comes Na'Vi with a third party. Liquid go down. Applejacks are still alive in this. Na'Vi will be the beneficiaries of all this loot. Lion getting thirsted there. So it's all up to Kenny to try and rat this one out. No, he actually got cleaned back up. Oh boy, Na'Vi do not know. They don't continue to push here as Kenny now goes for the wide swing. And he does see one in front of them. Hits for the 39 with that Volts. Not going to be able to recover his banner, unfortunately, and get him back into this game unless they do have a mobile respawn beacon. We'll find out shortly here, but Kenny now pushes forward. Will grab that banner for himself. But again, do they have the mobile respawn beacon to bring back Plane now? Team Cheez It, though, holding the north side of the zone, as they do have a team ahead of them. It looks like just maybe there is a mobile respawn beacon down. It's Hambino getting hit up by that defensive bombardment from the side. He's getting, massively chunked down now. Dropped down to 10 HP, forced to use that Q. The armor swap pinged for his squad. It's just the blue with only about 30 HP on there, and Hambino gets hit once again. Team Cheez It in a very, very tough spot. See if Strictly has a bubble for him to try and fast heal up at the very least, as Mask is trying his best to survive. It's Frex above him to take him down. Stink will take out Faxlon throughout all of this as well. And Team Cheez It survive for now. CLG will fall.
Hambino took so much damage, and then they use the bubble, and they don't even actually utilize it, so I'm so confused on what they're doing. Meanwhile, Na'Vi getting into it with Team Pringles over towards the side. Nice shots there from Max Strafe, trying to get the armor swap through. Does take a lot of damage from the side. Kubsky coming through, getting the finish. Nice job by him. Gonna have to just play solo here, though, because the amount of pressure that's being put on him. Meanwhile, Strictly still hasn't even been able to heal yet. Armor swaps to a red. But that one is needing to be healed up big time. It looks like he doesn't even have large meds. Otherwise, he would have been hitting a Phoenix kit inside of this here. Instead, just electing to syringe. No med kits, no batteries either. So tough spot to be in, and gets punished for it. Portal coming in for Hambino. But this is a desperation portal because there are so many squads alive here in this zone. This is going to be interesting here. This is going to be probably the most teams we've seen with this slow zone.
Yeah, and Sentinels finally rearing their heads, winners of game number 1 with 26 points. Kenny able to bring, of course, Lion back into this. So massive play coming out from Team Applejacks with the mobile respawn beacon. You saw teams tried to punish them, but they ended up getting punished themselves as Clean. They will swap off on to a red Evo shield for himself. Might actually, maybe Kenny swaps over to that gold armor. No, it's an empty red for himself, and so they're gonna opt for the additional HP as TSM. They're still in this. Bambino goes down. Nestle Pure Life. They have been detected by an enemy crypto drone. Kenny just recalls his own now. Doesn't have the EMP. TSM running through the buildings now as they're trying to get into the circle, and they have been playing positioning basically throughout this entire game. They've got the backside to work with as well. Don't know if there's a team underneath them right now, as Hal has been spotted out, and there is a squad there. Zone will start closing. Here's the drone getting cleared by Imperial Hal as they want to start pushing forward. Never mind, the drone wasn't completely finished off. It's so tanky now. So remember, a lot of buffs coming into crypto from patch.
Yeah, that's a pesky drone there as this zone starts to close. 7 squads alive. A couple of them are going to drop here. This is going to be really exciting to watch, but TSM unfortunately doesn't have much room to work with. I think they're gonna have to make a bubble play. Askey looks like he unfortunately lags out. Oh no, at the worst time possible. Applejacks now with 1 player. Clane finds a nice little rat spot, but should be spotted out here very shortly. Yeah, the Bloodhound scan gonna come through. Nice Q from Clane. Not sure if he's gonna be able to survive much longer though. Very unfortunate that Askey, probably the most powerful player on the team, as this zone closes, is going to drop. Maybe he's going to be able to get back into this one, but I think he's going to be down, and I think that's it for Clane too. 1 team inside this building. TSM still alive over towards the side. Snipe down. Probably still has that blue armor. Hasn't been able to get it up towards a purple or a red, so that's going to be the only thing that is going to hold TSM back in these team fights.
You know, we have 5 squads remaining, 12 players left in this lobby, and unfortunately, ASCII does go down. A very unfortunate disconnect. We were talking about the server stability, a lot of issues still to be running out, but yeah, snipe down. Still on the blue armor, he's 163 damage away. TSM played very center zone, played for position early on, and we see that armor is reflected of it now, but with 25 seconds zone to close, snipe down's got that EMP at the ready. There's still just so much cover for teams to work off of. The Sentinels now trying to get aggressive here on the northwest side of the zone. The bubble has been used early on by Crust. They just go for the reset, giving up the high ground now. They're getting challenged, but it's going to be a full 3-man push up. It's the Peacekeeper out for Retzi. Sanox is the one that get the knock onto Paradise, and there's only one left now for 303, unfortunately. Zone is closing. It's going to be a minute and 40 seconds of mayhem here as Imperial Hal sets up the portal early for his squad. Even goes for the full trace, got the full connect, or full channel, excuse me, on that for now. But with the zone closing in, looming right behind them, Reps connects massively, taking out Ronnie. NPL are down. Now down to the top 4 squads remaining. I believe it's going to be a 3-3-3-1 with 303 playing as a solo for now. Sentinels, though, do have a nice headshot angle on the high ground here in the middle of the zone. The EMP comes out. Full connect on to the members of Sentinels, but with this pocket, they'll be able to heal up, reset. There's the scan, both squads ahead of them. Where is this final rat, though? As you can see, Sentinels staying ever vigilant to try and watch their backs for it.
This is going to be a very explosive ending. Again, that rat is really throwing a wrench into the side of things. Sanox is going to have one more big scan here, as it looks like the final EMP is going to be used, most likely from snipe down on TSM. And they really want this high ground. That's the plan, but they have to make sure that they're taking their time clambering up here and not doing it at the same time. And there's the push coming up from the side. This high ground is so important. Sentinels knows this. Great bubble coming in from Crust. Now they own the middle of the zone. Still 3 teams alive. TSM's going to drop towards the side. Cooler still in this one. Senox taking a lot of damage, but lands a couple of shots. And Cooler coming through looking healthy.
And somehow 303 making it to at least second place. I believe it was 303 at the very least. And Cooler take the win. Unfortunate for Sentinels, only finishing into the top 3 without as many kill points as they were able to get in the first game there. And so we might have a shakeup in the leaderboard, but we're going to have to wait for that, as we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3 of Series E.
Hey, shake it, kiddo. Love that. Whoa.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
It's Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws. They're Jumbo.
Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go. Cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go.
It's Jumbo. It's for snacking. It's Jumbo Snacks.
welcome back to Series E, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, had a little bit of a brain fart there, but yeah, we're about to head into game number 3. Sentinels were not able to repeat their performance there in game number 2, so let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard, see if they still maintain first place position, and they do, despite the win by Cooler. Of course, I believe Cooler only had about 4 points heading into the second game there, but they have made up some ground at the very least. Down by 16 points, the Sentinels, though. So it looks like Sentinels were still able to put up 14 points overall, I believe, in that last game. So great performance now. And if they can continue this, I mean, they should be the clear winners. We'll see, though, as again, we still have 4 more games left to go, Tom.
You can just see how stacked this lobby is. Solafide, CLG, these are 2 ALGS winners. Team Razor, that's a top 4. Third Impact, they've placed in the top 3. Team Rockstar, they've placed in the top 4. These are very, very skilled teams here. And Sentinels has a lot of points just to start this one. So if they can continue to play the way that they are with the team fight ability, it's not looking good for the rest of these teams because they've been playing the Bloodhound Gibraltar combination for a while, just like a lot of other teams here are. But the way that they're executing right now is much faster than we're used to seeing. Again, Sentinels used to be one of the most dominating team fight teams in North America, right next to TSM. And right now, they're looking like they're in their old form, and it's really fun to watch. So we'll see if they can keep it up. Another team I'm watching out for is Kubski filling in for Casellos on Team Pringles, sitting in 3rd place. Again, I think that's a great sub coming through. Kubski is always great at, again, predicting where to go. But not only that, making calls to go and fit in spots where you don't think you could actually go and rotate from. So we'll see what they're going to be able to do here as we take a look at what Cheez-It is doing. And I think Cheez-It is rocking the Pathfinder still. So that's going to be fun to see if they're going to be able to just get the high ground. Maybe like what you're seeing in the dome endings here, getting on top of the dome and doing something a little bit cheesy like that could work for these guys.
Yeah, and I think one thing, we talked about it in the past, it's about adjusting your gameplay to what's happening in the lobby, and Cheez-It are doing a fantastic job. They're coming in for those third parties at those fights over at Refinery, and those early kill points can be absolutely crucial. Of course, though, it's about executing throughout the rest of the game as well. So making it through the mid game, getting to the late game, getting the W, the 12 points from getting first place can be absolutely crucial here. So we'll see if they can continue to make these adjustments, continue and make it into the late game there. Because I think if they could play like this, it can really benefit them. Now though, as we head into game number 3, will we continue to have that 50-50 fight going on over at Refinery that Cheez-It have been able to take advantage of, as we are now on aboard a flight path fairly even as it goes basically down the middle of the map. But this is going to be a much later drop for Team Cheez-It and for a lot of the teams that are going over to the north side of the map, as we get a bit more insight now to see exactly how they've been able to take advantage of the situation.
Such a slow flight here. They're ignoring Epicenter, which is where I thought they were third partying from, but it looks like they are going to take Refinery, unless they're going to split it up here and try to take some of the Refinery loot away from that team and then go in third party. But typically when you go and loot Refinery, this is where you start. You start on both ends, and then one player takes the middle, then you work your way inside, and then you start to rotate out depending on where the zone's going to be. Looks like they don't have that far to work with. That's a pretty decent start. Anytime you can get a wingman to begin with, that's a great all-around gun to be able to fight and hold your own with. Meanwhile, Razor looks like they've mixed up their landing spot, and they're contesting over here towards Dome. And I can't remember which one of our partner teams lands over here. I feel like it's Nestle Pure Life.
Yeah, I believe it is Nestle Pure Life as well, which is why they're running as a full 3-man together, but they have to get out of here. Not able to pick up any armors for themselves. It's triple blues for Nestle Pure Life. Almost thematic there coming out from them. They pick up all of this. Team Razor just looking for the scraps. They're just going from bin to bin. No armors even yet. You'll be running straight into the hands of Team Pringles, I believe, who are over at launch site as well. We'll see if they actually peek their way on over. And hey, that's one of those few rare moments where you're happy to have double whites come out of a bin.
Yeah, and Razor's struggling right now. I believe they are sitting in last place with 0 points. They haven't been able to find a landing spot, and it doesn't look like there's too many teams over towards Skyhook. Skyhook can fit 3 teams. It's much better than landing and just running around doing absolutely nothing. Team Rays are really going to be struggling in terms of loot. Applejack's also struggling in terms of loot, but they have the scan. They have a priority area where they can go and hold, and they don't care about what they're doing. Very similar to what TSM did last game. Just take your time to get out of there and make sure that you're setting up into the next best spot. And this choke could be a good area, but I do see pings going down a little bit further, maybe down towards construction building.
Yeah, and this is TSM's timing as well. A minute 30 before the ring starts closing, and they're on the move. Another drop spot as TSM find themselves in a little bit of a kerfuffle. There is a team ahead of them inside market. Hal does have the aggressive angle here on the side, can peek in as he throws in that arc star. Someone just flying, whizzing right on past it. There's now the Volt this time around for Imperial Hal. So he's going to be playing the SMG much more close range for himself at this point. It's 2 brains, 1 controller that have already made their way in, and they are in a fight. It's Applejacks who have, of course, made that ping for this building. Kenny gets the first knock, not going down. Tech has been dropped down low as well. No armor left for him. Bowser goes for the peak, but his arm shield gets completely obliterated, though. Applejack's down to a solo. We have Tech going in to get that final kill. 2 brains, 1 controller will maintain control over construction.
Really thought Applejacks had that when they got the initial knock. Meanwhile, Rice Krispies gets a knock onto LG. You're going to have Strictly going down and being finished by Jazaz, and that's the fight we were waiting for, and they're going to get finished over towards that refinery side. So that's the fight that Rice Krispies finally cleans up as LG is going to drop. LG not going to have the strong performance like they did in the first game, unfortunately. They get shut down here, and I'm not sure if it was just through the rotation or if one player got caught off guard. But that's, again, another fast rotation. We see these teams are not playing around. They want to get towards the middle of the zone. They know how stacked this lobby is, and we've seen rotations not even at the 130 mark, 145, 150, I think, for Team Applejacks. And unfortunately, they ran into another fast rotation, which was 2 brains, 1 controller.
TSM got Liquid has all purple here, and generally that's what you walk out of when you come out from Skyhook. And they were still, I would say, relatively fast, definitely on pace for the normal rotations here, and they have a decent building in Fragment West right now. It can be a little bit difficult to hold on the levels, so we'll see what they concentrate on. Do they want the low ground? Do they want the high ground? Imagine mostly it's going to be the high ground for themselves. They do have the crypto to scout out a lot of these buildings as well to make sure that these are clear. For now, as we do have a nice drone racing simulator coming out from Nocturnal there. But yeah, they have decent control over the north side. We'll see how many more teams funnel their way in from this angle, as we're already down to 19 squads, 53 players, by the way. So 7 players have died. So a lot of fighting, but it hasn't been full wipes quite yet.
And those players may get res, so we'll have to keep track of if that count actually goes up. But you saw the thought process there for Team Liquid, just like you were saying, Jamerson, way too many levels to hold in that building. So they try to take the building next to them, so they have tons of caustic traps just locking down every single door. Now Rockstar, nice to see them getting a fast rotation too. They made their way all the way towards Fragment into the train area. But I think a lot of our teams don't know which side this is going to end on right now. You see a team like Liquid thinks it's going to continue to pull, as it typically does, towards that west side. But a lot of this zone is on the east side, and Razor gets taken out. Not surprising, because of the fact that they're going up against a Sola Fide squad, which lands thermal for free and gets a ton of loot. So this has not been Razor's day, and this is what we were talking about. Tuesday, on open days, they shine. They're really great at team fighting. They tend to bully a lot of our teams that are new into Series E. But on the pro day, they just can't find their landing spot. They can't get their feet underneath them. And we'll see what their strategy is going forward. I don't think they can go over towards Dome. If I was them, I would accept my fate over towards Skyhook. You've already sealed the deal by going there to begin with. Just share it, split it 3 ways, and get out of there.
2 brains, 1 controller, putting to stop to another team trying to rotate in and encroach upon the construction building here. And it was just a kill, as we do have now 50 players, remaining in this lobby for now. But to go back to that point for Team Razor, I mean, I just feel like, of course, they had that kind of Pauper's looting path. I mean, for them, they did not expect to run into a full 3-man there. So great timing coming out from Sola Fide, as now Third Impact are trying to make their way on up. Good shots coming out from the Mastiff, but no knocks quite yet. Balon G has gone down. There it is. Ziki gets the knock onto MPL's Dracos. Ziki will try and hold it again with that Mastiff. Oh, he's got another knock. There we go. Trades again. It's going to be Jazz versus one more remaining here for NPL, and the flat line will be able to finish off E-Boy Ronnie. Third impact survive for now. Is the third party going to come in? Surprisingly enough, they are safe. They got the scan as well as Balon G gets rezzed up by Ziki here. And Jazz swapping on over to a broken purple for now. But they should be in decent armor situation after they fully recover from this fight.
Yeah, not to be too picky, but there's a little bit of there's a couple of things that third impact could do in that situation. Jazz, great job cleaning up the fight, amazing job, great flatline shots, tracking was on point. It's moving over towards Fragment West, but resing the Gibraltar first instead of the Wraith, helping by getting the bubble down. But also, one of the things that I learned very early, and I think that PvP was the person to really drill this in for me, was when you have an opportunity to drop armors for your teammates, get into the box, drop an armor so they don't have to get into the box themselves. So little things like that I haven't seen teams utilizing in quite some time, and it really helps with these disengages. But I love the positioning here for Cooler. A lot of the zones end over towards Market. I think we saw one or two of them yesterday. Definitely one ended. But when it goes over towards Skyhook, when it goes over towards Fragment, for some reason, the Market tends to be the place where it's going to pull great shots there from Senox as Sentinels just locking down this choke with the Charge Rifle R9. Great combination to have.
And we do have, looks like Senox again, keeping an eagle eye on both sides of Fragment. Now, as he's 75 damage away, one full connect from the Charge Rifle will get him that purple Evo shield for himself. Looks like Solifide in another fight, though, as they try to push up the choke from Harvester's side. Caustic Gas will put a stop to them for now, as Gentrifying is forced to bat up, and the connects, as he does also take out the drone. Defensive bombardment has been used by Resulta. He gets a connect, and it's going to be Team Pringles on the other side of this punishment stink to get finished off, and hundreds now to go down to Designful. And so with Solifide, they've got the two-man advantage. They'll get the thirst onto hundreds, and Team Pringles are just going to limp away here. Only one player remaining for now.
Very clean from Solifide, and you saw the amount of loot that hundreds had. Designful stoked to pick that up. He's going to be able to heal back up, and they're playing edge here, so they're going to have to be taking team fights and be completely stacked. That's the second team fight we've seen them take that's been fairly clean, and they're going to continue to hunt this down, I believe, as Bowser's going to get a big knock there onto Crust, who is over towards the choke. Now the flank coming in towards the other choke from Solifide. It looks like Designful and his squad want to make their way up this hill, but this is a tough hill if someone's actually in the vicinity. Crust is going to get back up. EMP is going to be used from Tech, and now the push coming in from Noct. Pop-Tart's getting involved too. Sentinel's going to drop. The rest of this lobby is going to love what they see in terms of being able to catch up now.
And it was only a matter of time. We could see why it's so valuable to play inside the buildings of Fragment. So many teams are here just laying in wait for vultures to pick up any kill points that they can, but it's been two brains, one controller on this their stomping grounds, as they've been calling these rings expertly once again, with the majority of the next one going to be pulling on over towards Fragment West, so it has to be ending here. As you can see, the pings going out onto the tracks as well, just to the east of their building. Third Impact playing the blue boxes just ahead of them for now, as they do have a scan out into a team right ahead of them. Do they want to fall into the trappings of trying to push two brains, one controller? There's a player ahead of them currently, as Jazz does have the Beast of the Hunt popped. He's going to have another scan for his squad as well. Continuing to push is Ziki from the left-hand side. They do spot out two at the very least, and oh my goodness! Jazz from downtown hits huge shots with that R301. It's Solifide that's ahead of them for now. Solifide able to go for the full reset. Ziki hitting the bat for now, and we are back to the neutral game as both teams are trying to find an opening with these nades. The Thermites not getting much for Third Impact, but it looks like Ziki is making the call. They want to get out of this fight here as they port on back, but they are right on top of them. Defensive bombardment has been utilized as well, resulted throwing down his bubble to get the battery off. Ziki, a nice angle here, getting some poke damage off, but you can see Third Impact smell weakness, but now they are the ones in a little bit of trouble, but they finally find the opening. Gentrifying falls. Jazz has the high ground. He's got the Mastiff with the knock on to Resulta, and Solifide are out.
Great job there by Third Impact. Third Impact was like, guys, we're going to get third partied. I'm I'm trying to get out of here. Saltfeety's like, no, you're not. We're going to continue this fight. And they get punished for it. Rice Krispie Treats now looks like they want to battle over towards this train rotation. And they do use the defensive bombardment, but no connect. So they're just going to bail out of here. They do have to deal with 2 brains, 1 controller over towards the side. We know that Bowser has that Sentinel. He's going to connect onto Bird. Also connects onto Stunny, doing about 200 damage total there. Team Liquid, see, they get the scan for us. This is going to rotate towards them, but they are not in. So they're trying to scout out which buildings they could go take over with 15 squads left. This is going to get absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Liquid, in comparison to what's going on there on the south, are just absolutely chilling and lounging on the north side of Fragment, but they will have to make the move. They do have time, about 4 minutes, maybe 5, really, and they have some options afforded to them. It's going to be about market, that position that they'll most likely try and push for now. Pop-Tarts, though, here on the East Frag side, as the scans do come out, they've got a team behind them, so they need to clear out this back as 303 finishes off Hambino, and Bowser gets the knock onto one of Rice Krispie members. Is Stunny will go down as well, so Sung and Stunny out of this. It's all up to 1 as Bird does finally answer back. The 2 brains, 1 controller, just doing such a great job of controlling the south side, and now they will be able to finish off the rest of Team Rice Krispies. 2 brains, 1 controller, still maintaining control over this construction building. It's a little bit dicey for them, as you can see. Bowser gonna have to fully heal up there. Now LG down to a 2-man. Sonya going down earlier on, pushing through this choke here, as we had a lot of teams going down in this general area, but that means it's been cleared out mostly for LG. They're make their way on in. Departing Caustic trap there, slowing them down. And Rugby, third impact to use that information, get the knock onto him. Looks like 3 UCIS representatives taking each other out so far. Zron is the only one alive for LG now. Third impact, want to finish him off, but looks like he will be able to get away for the time being. LG playing the south side of the map currently, as again, eventually they'll have to run into 2 brains, 1 controller. We'll see if they can maneuver around that, or if they try to take the full team fight.
And that's the power of 2 brains, 1 controller spot. They've dealt with so many third parties over here, and they've played all of them perfectly, getting very aggressive. Liquid's getting aggressive too. Shots to the window for Elbrily, but he has to queue out of there. Smart play. Bailing out, gonna have to heal, hit a battery most likely. Shots coming through the door, actually, onto flanker too, so double batteries and a syringe gonna get popped. But I believe this zone is gonna end on the respawn beacon, kind of out in the open. We know that the zone's changed a little bit with the patch that came out, but that should be the popular spot, which means about 2 or 3 buildings are gonna be in. The powerful spot is the end zone too. You can hold that beacon down and have all the cover that you have from a couple of these blue crates and a couple of the there's about 3 bins over there too that you could use. So we'll see what Liquid's going to do though, since we're on their screen. They got the scan for us, and there it is. You can see exactly where we were expecting on the opposite side of that bridge, and only 2 buildings are going to be in. So Cooler, thank you for the scan. They now know they're going to have to rotate eventually too, but it's going to be a while, and they're going to have to hold off a lot of teams until then.
Cooler trying their best to fumigate the market side of Frag West here. They've got all the caustic barrels set up. Again, still though, this is it can be a tricky position to play for now. Under no pressure quite yet. Yuki still holding on to the heels, as he's only 22 damage away, just 1 shot getting himself a blue. So he's trying to be a bit greedy with that, as the shots do ring past him. Rockstar here on the eastern side, they do have a sliver of Frag East to continue to play. And I believe Pop-Tarts is still on this side of the map as well. They have to contend against them. Luckily for them, though, they do have some decent armors, as they do get scanned out by the Bloodhound ahead of them. Matt Pickett's going to answer in kind, say hello back to his Bloodhound brethren. But he does get hit up. Now, with that triple take out, Spots one on top of the building here.
I mean, Pickett has to pop the beast of the hunt and needs to get a lot of scans coming through here. If you don't use it, you lose it, man. I mean, we all seen the movie, so Pickett needs to go through, realize they have a tough rotation, hit the beast of the hunt, get a lot of scans, make your way through, and scare the enemy team. just your scans enough are going to make them so they back off for 2 to 3 seconds. But 2 Brains, 1 Controller has a little sliver here. And they're also going to be able to get the scan on where the end zone is going to be. So love the way that they're playing this. They've probably had the smartest rotation so far and the best execution. But there's Rockstar's move. And now you see the defensive bombardment being used by Rakinishu, who takes so much damage though.
Yeah, now Matt Pickett surviving with a sliver of HP, not for long, as Reps with that triple take does take him out. All it's Crummy here on this Wraith to try and survive for as long as possible, but he's so vulnerable as the defensive bombardment does connect onto him now. Drop down to 150 HP, will hit that cell at the very least, but he's getting pushed at the full push out as he does bamboozle a little bit on the Wraith somehow, but with the Mastiff, it's not going to be enough as he does fall. It is Pop-Tarts clean them up, and they're the ones that will be able to play the east side of this zone for now, with no one really challenging them. Everyone just funneled into the west side there, so this could work out hugely in their favor.
10 squads left. This zone is going to be absolutely insane when it closes in 1 minute, but what a job by Pop-Tarts coming through. Like you said, owning this side. They have their back towards the zone. It's going to be slowly creeping up. They're going to have plenty of time to force the action in front of them. As long as they play smart with their bubble, they're going to be A-okay. TSM, though, they're used to this. They know exactly how to go and play in these scenarios over towards the fragment side. This is where they land. They have tons of experience fighting, but Reps with the change off of Caustic, or off of Gibraltar, going on over to Caustic, taking a page out of LG in the EU book. Hal looks like he's running low, though, possibly on cells. He has a little bit of a sliver. There, he's going to use that one there. 2 Brains, 1 Controller gets contested by Third Impact. They get the better of them, and they also are going to be able to get the res onto Tech as this one moves. Tech may be able to get an armor swap to throttle that, but he dies, and they're not going to be able to get the respawn in time since the zone is closing. So super unfortunate for 2 Brains, 1 Controller, but they did pick up a decent amount of kill points.
And here's Liquid making their move now. A little bit vulnerable with this port out in the middle of nowhere here, but they do charge forward. They've got a team in front of them in Broke, and you see the caustic gas as well, along with the barrels already set up. Na'Vi starting to take out Cooler, one of the other teams that are basically in this area. They were playing in the marketplace just beforehand. Albert Lely will drop down into the bridge side, but he's getting hit up from behind. That's going to be Imperial Hell taking him out. Liquid, how long can they survive for? It's an all-out brawl as Flanker now flashing HP. We'll go ahead and start popping those cells. Does he not have a bat? It looks like he's gonna have to slow heal this one up. Nocturnal peeking for his squad mate. They want to just try and buy some time to heal up here. Flanker needs to make it to the late game. Team Liquid now in the top 6. We'll see if they can secure top 5. It's Intel that's right above them with that caustic as well. Tempest hitting those ultimate excel, so they are valuing the EMPs. But Dark Stars are coming in. They swap to the other side of the building here, sliding down. They get scanned up. Now, we'll see. It's the final zone for this game. Game number 3. A lot of teams battered and bruised. No economy behind them as well to heal up. EMP is going to be used by Tempest now as he tries to also scout for his squad. Bubble has been used to allow them to recover a lot of this loot. Very valuable at this point, because again, they were not healing. So we have Phony here on the high ground as both Fury and Tempest will get the armor swaps for themselves, go on to the purples. This is so crucial for themselves now, as again, things have slowed down once more. And we get to see another excellent late game courtesy of the circle changes here. 7 more seconds as the zone now starts closing.
Unfortunate that Tempest used his EMP when he technically didn't have to, and he also used the ultic cells that could have went over to Fury. But either way, getting that loot was super priority, so I completely understand they had to play it as safe as possible. But look at TSM still crunched in the middle of the bridge right now. Caustic barrels everywhere. The one problem for this composition would be any type of defensive bombardment that comes in, and also the EMPs would clear out all of the barrels. So I'm really excited to see what Intel is going to do with this team composition, because technically without a Wraith, this could be the strongest end game possible.
Zones closing in, slowly creeping on our players. TSM caught in the middle all this action as well. They've been able to keep Pop-Tarts at bay on the west side. That was their major threat here. The majority of the teams are just funneling in from the eastern side right now. Nice headshot angle for Tempest here, but the nades connect right on top of them. And Tempest now just commits the full drop down. Defensive bombardment connects as well from Blight. Team Pop-Tarts picking up some kills, but it's Reps really coming in on the kill feed now. He does have the Caustic for himself as he's trying his best to survive for as long as possible. He gets lasered through the gas. Imperial Hell gets a swap off on the armor. Snipe Down still alive as well. It's the 3 squads remaining, 303. The other side, Imperial Hell now peeking down from the high ground here as this Pop-Tarts has a full 3-man playing on the low ground. We might just have a heal off. Their bubble has been used, but they are looking healthy for now. You want to try and push in, try to buy time, go in on Reps. No, it's 303 that are here. ASCII has gone down. TSM are out. It's our final 2 squads remaining. Who ended this final brawl? I don't even know. It may have just been, and it is 303 that take the win in, well, game number 3.
What a game there. I mean, that was really, really fun to watch. 303 eventually holds on to all of their utility for the very end, but Blight caused so much havoc there for Team Pop-Tarts. Over towards the side, he lands a huge defensive bombardment. You saw the way that they wanted to play that one, but sneaky 303 with ASCII, I believe, on the Caustic there, just laying down the traps, laying down the gas at the perfect time, just doing tons of damage.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take our look at our Mobile 1 high performance moment. In game number 3, that big nade just forcing out Intel early on. The bubble is used, heads up play coming out from Intel. But again, it's just not enough in the face of all of this. You've got caustic gases, EMPs, defensive bombardments, everything being thrown at them for now. And TSM, they did a great job of playing center zone. Unfortunately for them, of course, it was just too much pressure coming out for them. You can see Imperial Hell trying his best. He does have that high ground angle here in the late game, but again, it just was not enough. Reps going down, and it's Pop-Tarts that were able to sneak in here just below them as well, but the caustic gas just doing too much to Team Pop-Tarts. As you can see, the zone slowly creeping up on them. They have to push out. They try to go in into some more caustic gas. Blight taking so much damage there. Farmer Lucas tries to survive, and at the very least, it looks like securing second place for themselves. But man, I was not expecting this kind of ending game. As we were noting, of course, with the changes to the zone, that it'd be a little bit more clear who the winners would be throughout all of this because of how much slower the late game is. But we can still have these chaotic moments. Well, that does mean, of course, at the end of game 3, we are going to be heading into halftime. So we'll be taking an extended break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. When we get back, it'll be the final half or the second half of Series E. So we'll see you guys then.
Gaming mouse. It needs speed and stability. It needs to be precise and instinctive. It needs to be light but strong. It needs to be reliable and swift. It needs to last. It needs to be ready. It needs a name.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Series E. Apologies for the delay. We had another server interruption, but we got it filled up once again to head into game number 4. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard to see exactly where we at. Sentinel still in the lead, but now their lead has been cut down to 5 points, 303. Right behind them with 35. Cooler Esports at 29 points in third place, and 2 Brains, 1 Controller in TSM right behind them as well. So with Sentinels going down early on in game number 3, it has really opened up the field for the rest of our lobby, Tom.
They didn't get any points that game. They got taken out on the rotation fairly early, and 303 is going to capitalize on that. The rest of the lobby was just jumping up and down once they saw that, because Sentinels came through and is averaging 20 points a game, which is phenomenal for how stacked this lobby is. And on the other end of the spectrum, poor Team Razor goes over towards Dome side, doesn't get any loot, doesn't have any armor until about a minute into the game, and they're literally running the scraps on the side of the Dome. So they have to figure out where they're going to go, what they're going to do. Other teams that really stepped it up was 2 Brains, 1 Controller. They're really starting to hit their stride. And it's weird about 2 Brains, 1 Controller. They have been slacking on the open days, but on their pro days, they're kind of 50-50. And this is how we expect them to play. We expect them to be in one of the best spots. We expect the brains of the operation to pick where these zones are going to be, and they're picking the zones very well. So much where you look at other teams and you wonder, like, is 2 Brains, 1 Controller one of the best teams, if not the best team, at predicting where to go, right? Flashpoint is really good at it. CLG is really good at it. But CLG's rotation is so far when they have to go over towards Skyhook that they're not able to really utilize their zone knowledge and their predictions, and they have to take these unorthodox routes and deal with fights that they don't really want to deal with. So it's always interesting to see what's going to happen. We'll see if any teams make any halftime adjustments or what they're going to do, but it's been a lot of fun to watch so far, and I think that it's going to get even more intense.
Yeah, and we are highlighting Team Pop-Tarts there that had some really great moments in game number 3 over here at Overlook, not being challenged, it seems like. Golden Sentinel, not bad at all, but it looks like he will go ahead and forego that for the Havoc. Might swap off on to the Volt later. We'll see. Pop-Tarts have already picked up 2 blue armors, but they already did a great job in game number 3, like we said. Being able to play the east side of Fragment and played into the late game fairly well. Over here at Survey Camp, though, it is Third Impact. It looks like no longer really trying to contest here. Again, Ziki has been challenged. He has taken some damage. He picks up the massive Volts, so his close range fighting will be strong. Still needs the HP to back it up, as he is now finally hitting the syringes. LNG even took some damage as well.
This has been that fight that's been going on for multiple weeks now over towards the Survey Epicenter Refinery side. Cheeza always gets involved. You have multiple other teams that get involved too, and I'm curious to see where Razor went, if we could cycle through them, because they've been the team that really struggles to find a spot. I also want to see, there it is, it's already Zeratricky who's going to be down, and they elected to take over this tunnel area, which we were talking about before, has some pretty underrated loot. But somehow Zeratricky is going to be taken out. One of 2 players already down. Not quite sure how that happened or who even took him out throughout all that, or who's even contesting this spot, but Banner should be recovered if they're able to get up this balloon. 10 seconds to get it. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. This is going to be so close.
This one feels like, yeah, it feels like an Olympus balloon here in 2 seconds, 1 second. Unfortunate. Third Impact probably still in the area as well. Third Impact making adjustments. We've known them to really play center circle here, but I think, you know, they've adjusted their play style, playing a little bit more edge now. They were one of the faster rotates, I would say, coming out from EMEA. But now they have kind of relegated themselves to playing edge. As you can see now, the ring does pull down. It's going to go over to Harvester. Largely Harvester. There's still a lot of options for this ring to pull as we join on board with Team Rockstar. Only white armors for them currently, but as it looks like they're continuing their looting path. At the very least, they're not challenged. And so generally they perform well. Again, we'll see how this game shapes up for them.
Team that's loving this zone right now in this ring is Sentinels. Just find a blue armor there for Crummy. That's going to be nice. But I feel like this is going to kind of end on that respawn beacon that is on top of the train where sorting is. Also where the snake is going to be too would be another really priority spot. So I want to see it in a minute or two what Sentinels is going to elect to do. We know that Two Brains One Controller is going to hit a fast rotation, but they got caught out over towards the side. In train, it's going to be Stunny, and Rice Krispie Treats Bowser is going to have to dip out. They overextend their welcome a little bit too long, but we saw it's tough to get in right now to where they got to go. Harvester's already got teams over towards it, so you could rotate towards that 140, 130 mark, get out of dodge, and you're still stuck fighting a team on the rotation. That's how fast all these teams are right now, and they understand the situation that you don't have time to loot. You got to make your way towards the center, otherwise you're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, and I believe, you know, this is a trouble that like TSM ran into just really around the beginning of last year. Now they've made their adjustments, so we'll have to see if other teams can make their adjustments as well. Cooler though in a fight over here at Harvester as Yuki has taken some damage. Oh, Nasky taking a big burst as we have CLG finishing out a fight as well, taking out the rest of Team Razor and making sure that, hey, this is ours. Skyhook as ours. You are no longer welcome here. Cooler in the fight with Na'Vi, though, continuing that fight over as it looks like Yuki just narrowly missing the knock on to that Wraith, but they were able to take out one of Na'Vi. So we'll see. I don't know if the banner was picked up by Na'Vi, though, as it looks like Bowser will get finished off. Now we are down 2 squads. 303 in a fight with TSM, though. Another fight taking place over here at Harvester, and TSM try to get a little bit deeper into this circle, it seems like. Got punished off of it. Imperial Hal is on the horizon.
Must have been stuck playing a pub and keeping his stream entertained, and then forgot to switch over and gets punished for it. Probably wishes he had his Q right there, but Snipe Down did grab that banner throughout all that. They're not that far from that respawn, and that's that respawn beacon, Jamerson, where I think the zone's going to end. So TSM had a very priority spot, and they could still hold it down with just Snipe Down and reps. So don't count them out quite yet, even though Hal has been taken out. They may be able to get a crazy bubble res or whatever they need, but just with the caustic, with the crypto, they're going to have enough information and AoE to hold their own. Now Cooler in a very highly contested spot. They can often find different areas to rotate through, but because it's Bloodhound scans, because teams look for opportunities and are confident in their team fighting, they're trying to press the advantage.
LG forcing back Cooler, as you saw Yuki almost going down on that caustic now, but it looks like they will just coexist for the time being. EMP has been used, so maybe Cooler want to push up on this. I know in just a moment, we do have Rugby backing away with that Wraith Q. And it's just going to be the full reset coming out from LG so far. Things slowing down. Had 2 teams going down early on here as the ring is still closing on board with Solofide. Designful getting pushed upon right now. He's dropped down to 5 HP, and it's Team Liquid that's here of all things. Albert Lely finishing off Designful.
Ozam.
Solofide. Yeah, maybe he's running the hammer point on that. I honestly think it's a very potent weapon, especially if you hit for the flesh. Wouldn't run it on the Wraith, though. Just because, you know, she's a lot of the entry damage, she does a lot of the shield damage, and you need the follow-up from your anchors afterwards. But hey, whatever works there, as Team Liquid do pick up a much needed kill there, and they can slow down Solofide. That'd be great as well. Gonna be the main challenge over here on the southwest side of this ring.
Solofide is known for holding this down. They love to take this high ground on the rotation over towards the tree side, but they don't want to have anything to do with Team Liquid right now, especially because you just have the red dot on the scout. Unfortunately for Resulta, he's not able to defend Designful throughout all of that. You also have Rice Krispie Treats not that far off over here, holding this high ground. Great shots there from Bird, but Sunny takes massive damage. You're going to have to hit the battery, and also has some flesh heals here very shortly, either a syringe or a medkit. Syringe is not going to take him all the way up, but should be enough to make him feel confident, maybe peeking or just running, because that team obviously has some good shots. Not only that, but the guns and the scopes to take you down. So they're going to just find a different way to rotate, and plenty of time to do so. Cheese It over here in kind of no man's land, getting in a fight that most likely won't get third-partied because it's kind of out there.
Yeah, and they are on the edges of the zone right now. A lot of the northern teams have already rotated in, basically to the northwest side of this. Strictly does have the gold armor, Blues on Masked and Hambino, as they are just resetting. See how they approach this one. They do have the use of the Nox Gas Grenade if they want to try and get aggressive on this, or at least cut off an angle for themselves, but repositioning those barrels, it looks like they just want to hunker down now and just bunker up for as long as possible.
we haven't hit our top 15 yet, so we haven't hit placement points. And so teams do want to slow it down around this time. But at some point, you do have to pull the trigger and try to get aggressive on this squad. Now, though, as Team Cheez-It are going to poke their heads out of their building. You got pings going down over towards the tunnel, over towards Sorting Factory side, as we join on board with Team Pringles, who have gotten in a little fight. Maybe it was just poke onto Stink. CLG over here, a train, though. Got the caustic gas going as well. And oh, man, it was Na'Vi that was right below them. Nesh getting finished off here. CLG with 3 purple armors. Looking fantastic for now. If they could pick up the rest of the squad, that'd be fantastic. The same Pop-Tarts. Looks like they were the ones that were gatekeeping, I believe, Team Cheez-It here. As they have made their way over to the connector. Blight might have one pinned down behind the truck, and he definitely does. He's got that gold sentinel. Not quite connecting with the shots yet. His aim just flicking left and right, but doesn't actually punish anyone here. Does have to keep an eye to the south. It might be Team Sentinels maybe down over here. But nope, never mind. That's a caustic on the other side. Blight takes a lot of damage. He gets behind cover and he survives, but it looks like Na'Vi will not, as CLG will finish off Kuya.
Who's giving us the sky tours right there? I mean, it felt like I was in a helicopter for a second. LG locking down this harvester side. I really wish that when we saw Rice Krispie Treats get that scan for us on the next zone, zone number 3, we could have looked at the mini map, because I'm super curious if this is actually ending harvester. And if that's the case, you know LG is going to have a great position here over towards the middle. The middle is probably the best spot to hold, because it's the easiest spot to hold. You don't have to worry about teams coming up the ramps, and you can also rotate back and forth looking for opportunities to get kills compared to the other teams that are just kind of locked inside. You also have these high ground opportunities too. So LG, you can see how experienced they are just based on how willing they are to split up and kind of just rotate back and forth over towards top center, making it really difficult for these teams on the bottom to survive.
We are down to 17 squads as Team Intel got taken out by Third Impact now. LG, unfortunate. Sonya just disconnected. They're trying to keep guard over his body. Pop-Tart's in a fight over here at that connector tunnel, as he does connect onto Flash with that, but the EMP is going to slow him down. Now, Light gets hit by it, but he's committed to this angle as he pushes up with this Gibraltar. Another thermite to slow him down, but he's got the 410 on that Sentinel here. Wants to go for the peek here, but he's going to back away for now and pop the cell at the very least. As Fat Fruit Ninja gets hit up, it's going to be Reps with a 301 to take him down. DSM want to get aggressive off of this for now. A Blight does crack one. We do have Hal back into this with the Event Horizon, the Black Hole. They charge on forward, and the finisher inside the Black Hole. Hal. Oh, man. You can't really floss in the game, but I think that's the closest you can come to it.
I mean, once you get back into the game and you get your boys to hook you up now, you have gold armor, and you got to be feeling good about that one. Hal definitely, I don't think, is going to be busting out the Horizon after this game, but that has to feel good, especially after being taken out early.
Yeah, Matt Pickett actually gets a pick onto Farmer Lucas as well, so they do get finished off, it seems like, as Team Rockstar still holding this position over at Sorting Factory. Even though they were relatively close to the circle, they just were not able to make their way on in. Hal getting tagged up as he does take that gravity lift. Now we have to remember that Horizon did see a small nerf, 16 seconds to 21 seconds now on her Q, but still her mobility is absolutely insane. Rockstar now peeking out though, as they do have some loot ahead of them, and it looks like Liquid are on their last life. Yeah, Flanker goes down to Third Impact, as we saw Albert Lely going down earlier on. 15 squads remaining, 43 players here, so 2 players missing out of our lobby currently. We'll see if they can get res back in. Don't know who's missing out of this lobby for now. This is Rockstar. You can see Crummy, of all people, is the one that's poking out. He's picking up all this loot from Farmer Lucas. He's already got the gold helmet, the gold bag. He's got the watchful eye of Matt Pickett on that drone. Keep an eye out for him. And oh boy, I think TSM's getting pushed now. Here comes Sentinels. Arcstar's out from Retzi. As you can see, Hal will back away with that gravity lift. Retzi wants to find something, but he has to be careful pushing up by himself right now. He does have the rest of the squad now coming up from behind him.
And he's now down to 150 HP. There's a Caustic in his way, along with the EMP. He's going to queue back in fear, and TSM want to turn the tides on them. They do charge back in their way. Sentinels have already lost out on Crust. Xenox now might be the next one to fall. Never mind, he is the last one remaining, and not for long as TSM. What an amazing turnaround on that fight.
Horizon OP, Hal's a genius. He figured out the new meta now. Die early, get your spawn back. No one will be expecting the finisher inside the black hole. No one's going to expect you to even be good when you're playing Horizon in this type of competitive lobby. Throwing everybody off. Genius plays coming in from Hal. But Rockstar, unfortunately, they get taken out. Amazing grenade coming, Nox grenade coming in from Crummy. They're going to be finishing off Dracos there and getting that banner. Possibly getting a spawn or respawn in the zone if they have the heals. This will rip you apart, but with the gold armor, you could possibly pull this off if you're able to finish off this team in the donut. I'd love to see them even try to attempt it.
Yeah, they also have the crypto, so he can try and pop that. But right now they are under some pressure. The zone is closing in on them as LG finally getting to this fight. It's Applejack's actually pushing them. And Rugby is the final remaining member alive with 5 HP as he has to queue out the third party coming in. And it looks like as Stunny finish off Ron. Very unfortunate for LG. They had a strong position, but now it's they're being pushed by a full 3-man. It's Rice Krispies here taking the position, and it looks like it is just a full Harvester ending. Bird swapping on over to that red Evo shield. He's got 2 people right below him as well, but the nades forcing him out of that position. But we have Sung still holding on up here. Even though the world is burning around him, he's going to continue to loot now. He does need to find some med kits or something, and syringes. Not what you want to really see. Let's see, Bird, though. We'll change up his angle. Checking both the left and right hand side. It's Sola Fide. That's at the bottom of this hallway, at the bottom of the ramp. Looks like Bird will be able to fully heal up. Now hitting the cells on the gold armor. As we do have, again, Sola Fide trying to push up, but Designful took a lot of damage there.
That was Bird with the Hemlock. Great shots. One more burst, and he would have been taken down. That would have completely turned the tide there in favor of Rice Krispie Treats. But Solafide has a tough angle to work up from. This bottom area is so tough to waltz up, and Bird's doing the right thing. He could solo lock this right hand side down while the caustic traps are completely enough to lock down the middle, and then Sunny just watches the left hand side, and Sung could rotate to whatever side they go towards. But they're pinging the middle, and if they're pinging the middle, you're gonna let a very good team advance for free. So this is kind of questionable. Sunny needs to back off.
Yeah, he gets slowed down by that gas, has to instantly pop the Q because he's so vulnerable out in the middle of nowhere there. As Rice Krispie still holding basically the center of Harvester now. Don't know where Solafide went, as it looks like Imperial Hell went down to 303. Rice Krispies picking up Resulta. So it looks like Solafide are in a desperate spot. Here's the drop down coming out as TSM are trying to recover Imperial Hell here. You see Rep starting to set up the barrels. He's going to go ahead and stick the res for now, as TSM are going to get Pal back into this game. It's the re-knock as the nades come in. It's Dell actually with the flatline getting the re-knock onto him. Rockstar now trying to push up as the zone is forcing them out of this position. They do get the team fight win up against Team Cheez-It. So join back on board with Solafide, who have lost out on Resulta. Gentrifying and Designful hitting up the shield heals as Na'Vi will get a team fight win as well. TSM did get Imperial Hell back into this, but for how long? Not long at all. Reps hit, and now it's all up to Snipe Down to try and survive, but he will fall. As now it's 303's turn to try and get a player back up. It's ASCII that's currently bleeding out now, but it looks like there's firing coming up from above them along with nades. And Bino, do you have maybe a port to try and get him out? He does, but here's the drop down for who I don't know who this squad is. The nades are coming out, and all the visual obscurement. It's being kind of a nuisance to this squad. It is cooler. Ultimately win this out. 4 squads remaining, 11 players left here, Tom.
It's been an absolute bloodbath right now. All the teams over towards the top have been doing a great job. Rice Krispie Treats is one of them. They're going to meet up with Cooler very soon, but they're going to have to advance over here on the RKT side. A little bit of that top middle area is in if they're able to hold this team out over towards the right and own this, and that should be the plan right now, especially with this gas grenade up for Sung. So now they're starting to do a little bit of what LG was doing, running back and forth just owning this spot, and a caustic trap is going to hit over towards the side. Should be a rat, and some nice shots going to show that player has red armor. But wow, players just hiding everywhere in every single corner. A couple armor swaps here too, but third impact's involved, coolers involved. You have Rice Krispie treats, and then I believe you have a two-man squad, which is Solafide.
Yeah, so somehow Solafide able to survive all of that. It looks like third impact though find themselves in the ring, and they can play inside S as well. That is in. Gentrifying and Designful coming up from behind them with the scans to go for the early scouting. Gentrifying just pulling out armors as well. There's a purple just laying down. That might be an empty one, or maybe they're afraid of possible cryptos. There it is. It's the heals swap off coming out, being handed over to Gentrifying here as the Beast of the Hunt will be used. Cooler! Oh no, they dropped or got dropped on by RK. Rice Krispies able to finish that thirst and get the kill onto Nasty. That is huge as well. And so now our final 4 squads. We got the big old question mark. Rice Krispie Treats might be the only team that's healthy in this lobby. Study lasering with that R301, but it's Designful that got the knock onto Jazz. And Cooler are out. We're down to our top 3 squads. Rice Krispie Treats have the high ground angle. They should have the number advantage across the board now as they slide on in. There's the knock onto Designful coming out from Sung. They're going to slide on in. The Wraith will fall, and Rice Krispies take game number 4.
Nasty spray with the Volt there, and the Digi threat from Sung. Just ridiculous plays from Rice Krispie Treats. They did a great job of taking out Cooler 2, who was gaining a lot of momentum. Taking over that high ground was perfect, but that was such a fast-paced game, Jamerson.
Yeah, incredibly so. And we thought maybe it would be a bit slower there over in Harvester, but like you had mentioned earlier on in the game, without the Watsons, without kind of deterrence, teams are able to push a little bit more freely. Now, Caustic might provide some of that same kind of utility, but it's really not the same. We are going to go ahead and take a short break, and when we get back, we'll have game number 5 of Series E. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto. Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen, and I didn't listen. Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavor and barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
Again, guys, sorry and apologies for the delay. We had another server crash. We are, of course, resetting the lobby and getting all of our players in. And we should be heading into game number 5 very shortly here for Series E and bringing you all the action. It's myself, Jamerson, with Tom T Squared Taylor. And Tom, again, we've been having so many insane late game circles. Mid game fights have been a lot of fun to watch as well. And it's been extremely hard to tell who's going to come out on top today.
Yeah, and we've, again, all these different compositions that are coming in, all these different play styles. Hal on Horizon last game, which was absolutely hilarious. I think he's going to switch it up this game and go back to Wraith. But the fact that he got taken out, comes back, and was the kill leader, hits a finisher inside the black hole, that was absolutely classic and probably worth it for him, honestly, to have a little bit of fun with that one. But I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And let's take a look at the leaderboard and kind of see who's had the best day so far. Surprisingly, 303 Esports with their new roster is coming through. Sentinels, after getting 40 points after their first 2 games, has only been able to pick up 1 after that. And the zone wasn't too far from them last game. So just unfortunate that they haven't been able to keep up the pace.
And with the inconsistencies across the lobby, though, that means the middle of the pack, it's wide open for them to try and swoop on in like 303 did there. Cooler Esports in 3rd place with 38 points. Team Rice Krispies now with 33. TSM just behind them, tied with 3rd Impact as Team Rice Krispies. I think, they have been really on the up and up the last couple of weeks here, performing much better than I think what happened during the middle of the season. Now they are, I think, adjusting well now so far to this meta, and it's really hard to call what exactly the meta is because everything is just kind of thrown up in the air. Like you said, in terms of compositions, how the circles work, everything is just changing, and fundamentally, everyone is kind of relearning the game at this point.
And Rice Krispies has been a team for quite some time, and they are a very close team. When you go and talk to them in the interviews, you know that they are going to be sticking together, and that really matters when you go and you play through these processes, and you have to come through and just know that you have trust with inside of your team. So I love the way that they're playing. Their play style is very unorthodox. They can really heat up at any given time. They're hard to predict on how they're going to play. They play a very passive-aggressive play style, but you have to be impressed with the way that Sung plays. And every single Legend that they play really fits their play style. Stunny plays great on Wraith. Bird, he can play Bloodhound or he can play Gibraltar. And then Sung consistently on Caustic has to be one of, if not the best Caustic in North America. And they really proved that with a tournament that they won a while ago. And I think it was in the autumn ALGS circuit. But we'll see what they get for loot. They do, I believe, land. It has to be a train landing if this is the way that they're going to go. And if that's the case, bad loot. We all know how bad the train loot is, and they still get it done.
Where the hell is Stunny? By the way, you can see he's off to the east, so he's on the other side of that tunnel. By the way, and yeah, there he is. He's taking up that cursory loot there, and then he's going to rejoin his squad over at train. This is definitely a different drop kind of tactic or strategy that I'm used to seeing Team Razor though. Now again, the Orphans still trying to find a home here during the pro nights, and it looks like they're going to contest all the way down here. Who is it? Team Pringles, right? Generally play over on this drop. I'm surprised that this is relatively free.
First time they ever have been contested, and it's going to be hundreds that gets taken out. And that's unfortunate because Razor's really been looking for a place to land for quite some time. They've been bullied basically out of every single spot. So now if you give them confidence and it seems like you are the weakest team in terms of fighting off of drop, they are going to completely try to obliterate you and try to find a spot to land. So for Pringle's sake, hopefully they're able to turn this around, whether that's get the banner or at least win this 2 versus 3 and try to back Razor out, because Razor got punished last game by CLG. And now they're looking again to make a push over here to Team Pringles.
Really just poking away at the Hornet's Nest at this point. Even though they're on the high ground, Team Razor can try to close the gap, and they're fighting a man down, by the way. Looks like Team Razor though handing off heals there. They have been sticking close knit, do not want to be separated, and that's how they've gotten punished off the drop before. So this time around, they're going to be running as a full 3-man throughout all of this. They do have the Caustic above as well, so maybe that might put a wrench into the works here. But we'll see, do they try to take the zip? Do they try and go up, or they maybe just back away off of this, or do they understand the situation that they're in, being on the basically the end of the leaderboard there? They need to pick up a lot of points. They need 2 massive games in a row if they want a shot at 2nd or 1st place.
I think the big question is, does Sentinels hear this? Because if Sentinels hears this, or another team hears this fight that's taking so long, they're going to come up and basically kill everybody, because nobody has any strong armors right now. And they're going to start running out of resources and ammo very shortly here, as get the picture-in-picture and see the angles that everyone's taking. The Wingman is a perfect situation, a perfect gun for this type of situation. And we'll see if Stink's going to be able to get some good barrels down to stop these guys from pushing, because if they have to clamber up and there's a barrel there, that's going to give them a big advantage. Nice job placing that one, but he's going to want to move that up just a little.
And you see the headshots, that just cracks the armor that Team Razor are sitting on, the whites and the blues at this point. And doing a good job of deflecting this, but Zeratricky has made his way on up. He's going in here. His Flashpoint are backing off to their barrels. Oh boy, a lot of damage going down on to Stink. Now that's going to allow the window of opportunity for the rest of Team Razor to join Zeratricky up top. Now the Beast the Hunt, not bought enough time for that, and so they'll have the scans to work with, one peeking out from window now, as Hacula will go for the repeat with that flat line. They charge forward off the back of that scan. Zeratricky going for the flank though with that. Give them the bait now. They do hear him though running, and they do check that angle. No connects coming out from Stink though, unfortunately for him. Now they are getting choked out as they go for a full 2-man push onto, but Zeratricky holds onto the spray, takes one out, and they're gonna try and get the thirst, at least for the BM, and now he's gonna back away off of this, but the rest of Team Razor are here. That's going to slow down Team Razor just a bit, the tail end of this fight. But how much fight does Stink have left in him? Not much, as he gets finished off. And Team Razor, they have the beacon right there, but that's the 3rd party coming in. Which rotate is this? Is this Nestle Pure Life coming in for the 3rd party?
Pringles is big mad right now. I'd be so pissed just being in hundreds, going down first, and watching the fight last for a year. Now Nestle Pure Life is hot on the case, and if I'm Pringles, I'm rooting for Nestle Pure Life to come and take these guys out and be like, what, was it worth your 3 points? Like you said, they just have not found the home quite yet, but they're also doing a great job of running. So props to Razor for having their Nikes on and just getting out of here as fast as possible. I don't think Nestle Pure Life is interested in giving up on this chase.
Yeah, they want the kill points, and they are chasing after them. You have to be careful, though, coming here over the tree. We did see, of course, in that last game, or it might have been the game beforehand, where Solafide had a really late kind of roundabout rotation coming out this way, even though the zone was pulling up to the north. But, oh, no. Looks like Mr. Hakulo going down for Team Razor. Bambino finally gets that kill, and it's the Hemlock shots that connect. He's got the 3x, so he's got the range on that one. Now they'll be able to finish him off. Now I believe it's all up to just one remaining member there. And NPL are going to continue the chase.
Why not? They're not going to get third party. It's still ring number 1. There's no way the team that's at tree is going to be there. As we get a good look at where this ring is going to be. More on this refinery epicenter side, which is super popular. We know third impact, and she's love to sit over here and land in this particular area, but it's going to be a knock onto Kuya. Nice EMP coming in through the corner, but he's going to get out of his drone as well and try to get back into ADS area and ping where this is. The bubble was used perfectly as the EMP went off, so they didn't actually have that disappear, and Kuya most likely going to be thirsted. Just going to have to post up here if you're Nesh and work together, use that drone to recover the banner, because they're going to try to push in here hard. All he's trying to do is have a little presence. Once he takes some damage or there's too much presence, he's just going to back off and they're going to hold this building.
Yeah, and you have Nesh needs to set those barrels to try and survive this onslaught. Now, the 2v3 does have that Nox gas grenade, so if they get a little bit overzealous, you can try and choke them out with the gas. Takes thermite damage, does back away, and that window is proving to be a huge nuisance for them. One of the doors has been blown down. The caustic barrel will be used, and there's 2 people outside right now, actually just the one, as they might go for the full push out there, but already they are so low on HP. Ziki from below gets some poke damage off. Third impact, slowing things down here. So again, they are all also in critical damage, and so Caustic doing its job, slowing them down, allowing their side to bunker up for now. And the longer this takes place, you'll have the team start rotating up, especially with how hard this ring is pulling to the north.
I'm thinking Team Cheez It has to be in the vicinity over towards Refinery. They're also pinging Overlook to watch out towards that side, and possibly behind him, Team Liquid is just waiting to collapse on top of this hill, and we know how important this hill is. Really up to Flanker and Alberlily to work together. Nocturnal is going to have very rare opportunities to actually get into his drone and give information, because you have to be completely paranoid here if that's the case. But Flanker going to land down some AoE. You also see the push coming in from third impact, and when this happens, Alberlily is going to place a portal down, and they're going to third party this.
Yeah, they have to be careful. They're reapproaching it now after they have healed up, and that's exactly why you need to be careful. You are now surrounded on all sides. Committing onto this means, like you said, a foreplay coming out from any team within the distance. You already have 2 making their intentions kind of known. They want to get involved in this, and NPL looks like in their chase gets taken out by Solafide, and that's what I'm talking about. The slow rotations coming out from Solafide, punishing teams.
That's hilarious. That's the Pure Life chase so hard. There's no way they would ever taken that rotation, and then they run into Solafide, who just has a field day looting up thermal station. Takes so long. Might as well just get all your loot with that Bloodhound Gibraltar composition. And here's the play coming in from Team Liquid. They're interested, but they have to be careful that they don't leave their position too much. The kill points are worth it. It's nice to get these guys out of the lobby because they're such a strong team, but look at that placement from Flanker. He should just send that.
The bubble is just keeping them alive for now and kind of disconnects them from that. EMP is going to be used. Don't know exactly by who. That might have been Nocturnal there. Unfortunately, they're not going to get too aggressive, or at least fortunate for Liquid. Again, too many teams in the area for now, so they're going to continue to play this cautiously and back away. We're already down to 17 squads here in game number 5 for now, and Liquid don't want to give up an extremely strong position here. And so they retake the hill for now. Got barrels watching their flank from the north side, and the pings are coming out. They want to redirect their attention to there, make sure that they're not getting flanked.
I didn't realize Nocturnal wasn't there near the team, so sending it definitely would not have been the play, and Flanker going to back off. Like we're talking about, not losing their spot is absolutely crucial, not worth the kill points. When 2 teams are making a mistake, sometimes it baits you into kind of doing the same thing and making a bad play too. But you got to give credit to Third Impact down there, at least staying alive and not getting extra aggressive. Applejacks Kenny with the Loba. I'm not sure where this came from.
Oh, Cooler in a fight up against Snipe down. TSM losing 1 here. Yuki Oh, has to be careful around the gas. As Sir Del will be able to pick up some loot at the very least and back away. And this was the team that was poking away at third impact from the northwest or northeast side. As they do have a team right above them. Del will get the knock. Imperial Howl answering right on back. Nasky drops down. As Yuki is full health. He needs to buy some time for Nasky to get the armor swap off. We have another team in the distance as you saw the Gibraltar Dome going down as well. Nasky popping the heals inside the gas as they are going to try and stick the res, but the defensive bombardment doing a lot of damage. Del does survive and they get him successfully back up on his feet. He'll hit the bats as it looks like Team Liquid finished off CLG.
And while that happened, Pop-Tarts, as we hop on board with them, got a couple of kills, but Blight was taken down. They hit the immediate respawn. This is going to cause complete havoc on this end of the zone. Expect a couple of different teams to go and collapse on this. There's the grenades already coming through. I'm not sure if he realized it was there. Farmer Lucas going to have to queue out and back off, hopefully to a safe space. I'm not sure if there's any teams directly behind him, but it was cooler in the area. That's Fat Fruit Ninja going down. And sometimes it's really just not worth it quite yet to get the res unless you have resources for your team. And Cooler's absolute psychos when it comes to getting aggressive on an advantage, and that's exactly what they do, taking over the spot. We're going to see where this zone's going to move.
Yeah, it's the full Sen gang coming out from Cooler there, controlling the northeast side of the zone. I'll be able to pick up the beacon for us over at Overlook, and we'll have a good look at it in just a moment as Team Rockstar are getting pushed, though, over at No Name, and they have been wiped out. It's Sentinels once more. Finding kills here in the early game as Albert Laley is able to get a knock onto Ballon. He's rocking the P2020. Don't see that often. If you can swap on over to, I want to see if he has that hammer point on it. Just run to the zone for now. Zicky will get thirsted off as well, and Ballon G goes down. There's just one member remaining for third impact. It's Jazz as Albert Laley finishes them off, and yeah, it's the hammer point.
The great thing about the hammer point, besides taking people down with it, is people on the ground just die so fast too, so you're able to get that immediate armor swap. And Albert Laley's a complete maniac when it comes to his mechanics, so patience finally paying off for Team Liquid. They make their way down there, finish off those kills, and get all of the kill points too. Now we take a look at what Two Brains One Controller is doing. They're just playing it safe, holding this high ground, and they're going to make a late rotation over towards the hill. And this is typically what happens, is that's how contested that hill is. And now it's up to Liquid to try to just fend teams off over and over again. You see the small side of the circle is over here. Tech wants to be the first person to push up, and the rest of his team's going to have to follow, but they're definitely going to meet resistance here.
Yeah, there's a Team Liquid ahead of them right now as he does ring out the shots with that Volt, starts pushing forward, misses the bottom of the barrel, and he's just going to back away and reset for this. Nocto is still trying to find something here as he has pushed up, and so looks like they have successfully taken the hilltop, but we do note that the ring is pulling over towards the train cart in the valley just below them. Now, Sentinels here on the southwest side coming out of Overlook now. They've got the long range weapon still. Senox has a charge rifle, plenty of shots in it as well. As they're keeping their eyes on Overlook, there's a team up top. They spot one out on top of that sniper post, top of that drill. And that's going to be the next teams in their sight, quite possibly. 303 playing the rocks over here at Epicenter, taking up a lot of space with those barrels. And take a look at the camera there. And so it's out of distance of giving that information away, right? You don't have the sound cues of the drone being near you or that you've been scanned. So I like how high they're playing with that drone right now. As 303, they might have a team ahead of them in that car. Bambino's going to be cautious with that with that thermite to clear that one out, but can't imagine anyone is in there right now. Sentinels back on board with them once again as they spot out a team fight to their west. Eyes on that to try and pick up any kill points that they can. A team stuck inside the car for now. The charge rifle shots, don't know how much it's doing for them, but it looks like Retzi wants to get aggressive off of this. Is forced to bat as he takes a lot of damage here. And it's just kill points laying in wait for Sentinels, but Retzi thinks better of it and will back off to the rest of his team.
It's so hard to push up that hill when you're getting gate kept if you're making your way from No Name, but Albert Laley is popping off this game. R301 knocked down onto Yuki. Cooler having themselves a pretty good day too, so that's huge for Team Liquid to go and get that one if they could finish it off. It looks like The rest of Solafide gonna bleed out, unfortunately, as they tried to make the rotation. LG gonna pick up a couple of kill points from that one. Nice Nox grenade coming through. Also gonna connect with the charge rifle. That's big damage coming in from Sol.
They got the knock, and now they want to take advantage of it here as Bird really just roosting above them now. Drops down with a massive, only hits for the 16. Luckily, the rest of his squad is there, and Team Razor get taken out almost unceremoniously. It happened so quickly. As Stunny will go ahead and stick that res. No team coming to punish them quite yet. We're already down to 10 squads with 27 players remaining. So it's going to be a safe reset for Rice Krispies here. They still have a long trek ahead of them. With a minute going down, they've got the defensive bombardment being used to their north as well. LG sticking, of course, with this Loba now here on the low ground. So they'll be able to pick up free loot with that black market boutique as Liquid. Looks like they will be able to recover Alberlele, get him into the port. And even though they've given up the high ground, they're still alive, which is the most important part here.
Smart, putting the barrels down, shooting the barrels. Easy res there for Alberlele. Just got to be careful you don't get sent back into the portal. And we know that flanker had the gold backpack because we saw Alberlele drop it for him earlier when he had the blue. So really nice job there by Team Liquid, getting them back into the game. And also getting the drone back into the air so they can spot some teams. And that high ground, just so pesky for teams to go and just lay down fire for you when you're stuck in this building. Nocturnal knows that. Doesn't have a Gibraltar shield, unfortunately, so can't challenge that as long as he would like to. And now is the time for Alberlele to start figuring out where they want to go. Ping's going down towards this rock. It looks like they have plenty of area to work with and should be safe from that team up top on the hill.
Yeah. We do have tech going down on 2 brains, 1 controller, 303. Current lobby leaders, I believe, with a lead of about 2 points. As Nock with that G7 scout still in hand. Getting some decent poke damage off. He's getting closer and closer to that red Evo shield, but now it's time for Liquid to make their move. Going on down, they do have the pings on that train cart. RKT taking way too long on the rotate. Bird is the first one to fall as that Gibraltar Stunny's going to try and survive for as long as possible, but it's 303. It's taking them out. Stunny is the only one alive now. We'll go ahead and pop that syringe as the zone ends right on top of him. Does he get spotted out? 303. They're gonna get punished just a bit now, and now they have to worry about their flank here as the barrels do come out from ASCII at the high ground. He tries to go for the peak here, doesn't climb up, and he hits for a lot. He gets the knock and he backs away. Phony tries to push up on him. ASCII will go ahead and back away to his barrels, start hitting that bat, and he needs Paradise to cover the angle for him. But it looks like they are the kings of the hill, as, oh boy, this is an interesting ring to say the least, as it pulls up away from the train tracks.
They have the best spot right now too, especially with Caustic. ASCII going to continue to toss out these barrels. That was the one opportunity they had to get griefed. If they were going to get third party, that would have been the time. Intel with the smart play to have their Caustic charge up past the barrel. I don't think he was expecting such good damage to come through, but ASCII kept his composure, finished that off, got away from danger, didn't get knocked, and they were able to reset. They're going to also be able to spot out Stunny towards the side. Alberlele is going to finish that one. And now it's kind of coming down to, I think, Team Liquid and 303. I'm not sure if Sentinels could still be in this game too. We know that they were rotating pretty late towards the side.
Yeah, it's full lobby since Sentinels are alive for now, but they're going to have a lot of resistance in their way. Still playing here on the southeast side of the zone, and the charge rifle still in the hands of Senox, and it's the last shot and he's got left. Don't know if he's got a box to swap off of for now. A lot of caustics in the way as well. Poking away with that 301. Nocturnal going in, might go for the EMP or just for the scouting information. We'll find out in just a moment as Ron gets the knock onto Cooler's Sir Del. So Cooler still in this. He gets finished off. Actually, that's Nasky going down as they try to play for that card, and LG punish them off of this. Remember, they were stuck inside that tunnel just beforehand, but it's a big fight. Sentinels pushing on to Liquid. Sentinels lose out on one. This is the moment for LG to try and punish this now as the trades have come out. Senox is almost full HP on his shield, but he still needs to get that health heal off as Retzi himself, not much to work with. 303 pick that up, and you do recover now. 303 here on the high ground, looking to just finish this all off. 303 full recovering here as they do spot out the last remaining member, I believe, of Sentinels here to try and punish them. 303, remember, they're in the lead. They took it away from Sentinels.
Now this is their time to try and walk away with this one. Spotting out LG, I believe, to their south currently. 303 are sitting in a beautiful position. The drop down from Bambino. Try and get the thirst. That's Sentinels out. LG versus 303 in our final fight of game number 5, but they are stuck here on the low ground trying to fight up, a little bit separated. You do have that crossfire being set up by Rugby. Sanya with a big shot from that massive. It's another big one with that one, but he's looking for the armor swap, and he does have a fresh red to go off of. Coming in with the flank now, throws down the barrels just in case someone tries to drop down. 303 do get the reset though, as the bat does come down for Bambino, but ASCII hasn't healed up quite yet, which is a little bit concerning here. They got the knock onto Rugby. LG's Sanya answers back. It's a 2v2, but the HP advantage going on over to LG right now. Bambino in a 1v2 is trying his best with this Mastiff, but he's running into caustic gas. He's gonna try and pop this bat, but they can smell blood in the water. They can smell victory. LG looking to finish this one out, and they get the win in game number 5.
Sanya was just popping off right there. It was a 2 versus 3. He lays down some serious damage. They turn the fight back around, just gets the knock with the Mastiff, turns around, almost gets the armor swap. What a play from LG, especially Sanya, to close that one out.
And like we said, the middle of the pack, really, it was left wide open without really consistent results coming out from a lot of our top teams. And so that might be LG taking the lead. We'll have to find out after this break, though. When we get back, it'll be the final game of the night here for Series E, and you're not going to want to miss it. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
Welcome back, guys, to Series E. As we are almost concluding the night, we have one more game left ahead of us. And to set the stakes, remember, only first and second place walk away with any kind of prize money tonight. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One high performance moments from, I believe, our last game here, 303, with that high ground to finish this one all off, Tom.
Yeah, they have the high ground, and they're looking pretty solid for the most part, but question is where was LG throughout all of this, and how did they make their play all the way around to get into such a good spot from the bottom hand side? So they were all the way down at the train cart. They come through, they steal these kills, which is absolutely huge. They get both of those, and then they somehow reset. But it really comes down to Sonya. If you watch his shots here with the R9 Mastiff, he comes through, takes an angle. Once one player gets a knock, they kind of overexpose themselves, and that player gets hit for 70, but he does a great job jumping up here, and they reset again. But I believe it's Ron that may get knocked first because he's playing on the Loba, and then you see Sonya come up with a huge initial burst, land some great shots, almost hits an armor swap, and basically does around, I would say, 300 damage before he goes down.
Yeah, and small little things. They're setting up the barrels, making sure that his bottom is covered, so he's able to freely cover it. And now he just turns around and just comes up huge for his team here. He ultimately does go down, but yeah, here it is. LG with the final moments. Bambino trying his best to survive. 303, though, surviving into the top two with a number of kill points. They might maintain leadership. We'll see in just a moment, as we do have the leaderboards coming up for us. And so it's still a lot of teams in the running to take the W tonight. And we have one more game ahead of us. 303 are just narrowly in the lead. And that was super important. 4 Sentinels to have gone down before them, giving them the lead now with 1 point. Sentinels behind them at 59, and Luminosity tied with Cooler at 47. So that was a huge clutch up moment, as well as Luminosity, I believe, were the ones that took out Cooler.
EU taking it to NA again here in Series Z. Our top teams looking strong. 303, LG, Cooler, and Third Impact. All our teams across the pond, and they are really showing up today. Sentinels holding it down for NA, though. We'll see if they're going to be able to pull out the dub for the boys. But it's been a very fun and interesting day. I think that we're seeing the really strong Caustic teams playing it very well, and the teams that are still kind of adjusting have a lot of learning to do, because there's a lot of little mechanics that go into playing Caustic. It's not just about throwing your grenade or dropping a couple of barrels. You have to have the mechanics. You have to know the little intricacies of the legend, and there's a pretty big skill gap with them. So I'm looking forward to the NA teams kind of taking a page out of their book, learning if that's going to be the meta. But also we're seeing the Bloodhound Gibraltar still very strong. If you're able to win your team fights, if you're able to reset very fast, you can do completely fine.
You also forgot now with the addition of Loba.
Yeah,
started off as a meme. I don't even know. I hope that we have someone from Liquipedia that might be able to answer this for us. But is that one of the first Loba wins coming out in pro play? It's absolutely astounding that that happened. But congratulations, getting the win on that. Team Rice Krispies, though, one of our best performing partner squads so far in Pro Night, and so we will be joining on board with them for the drop here in our final game of the evening, as we're still getting game number 6 all loaded up now for you guys. And, you know, it's been good to see them making the adjustments again, going back, picking up lots of different compositions, testing things out. And that's kind of what you do here at Series E, leading into the ALGS matches that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Here's Rice Krispies, though, with that unorthodox drop, splitting train, and then also part of this loot here just south of Fragment West. Cheese it in a fight up against Third Impact. They have traded 1 for 1. Hambino is the one down now. Mask doesn't have any armor on him. He's going to go ahead and try and stick that res for Hambino here, but the drop down, as you can see, Strictly is able to see him, and now he will try and give chase. He's only got the R9 with 24 bullets total here, and oh, the BM coming out. That's why they rezzed him, so he can get that final finisher. Hambino taking out Zicky, and Third Impact now on their last legs. They've only got 1 player remaining.
And Third Impact is sitting towards the top of our leaderboard, so that's super unfortunate for them. And Cheese It really rubbing it in as Farmer Lucas coming in from Team Pop-Tart's going to finish off ball on G. And that means that got to reset pretty fast if you're Cheez It. You can't be celebrating too much here, because here it comes, the 3-man push over towards the top. This is not going to be looking good for Cheez It.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts looking for anything. And hey, the armor swaps, free one for them, as well as Blight will take a gander on down below them. And unfortunately for them, of course, they're not running that Bloodhound, so they don't have the tracker passive here as try to bring the shots off. Joining on board with Team Razor now, again, challenging Team Pringles. Let's get the north-south divide. A CLG, where the hell are they? Where the hell is NPL that they're fighting right now? I am absolutely just dumbfounded as what's going on in this game, as it looks like NPL decided to go over to the Skyhook side and challenge CLG. Frex did go down. Madness looks like we'll clutch up for the boys. Keep them in this for now, but do they get third party? Is the big question here. You need to recover quickly. Get Frex back up.
Frex is salty right now. He's like, guys, please help me out. Meanwhile, there's the fight opening up for Team Razor on to Pringles. Casellos is back, actually. So we'll see if he's going to be able to try to cheer his team in through now that he's down, but that's unfortunate. Again, that Pringles is getting contested, and why not? Razor won the fight last time. They haven't been able to find a spot quite yet. But remember, the third party came in. Nestle Pure Life was the team that came and did that, so they got taken out by CLG, but that doesn't mean another team in the area isn't interested in coming in. And this looks like deja vu with Razor down towards the bottom and Team Pringles sitting up towards the top.
No fleshmeds. There we go. The medkit getting handed on over. And at this point, though, do they have enough for Hakulo as well? There's another medkit. The boys coming through as 2 brains, 1 controller find themselves in a fight over here at Lava Fissure, as Knocked and Bowser both sitting on purple armor, so their team fight is extremely potent, but the EMP might be the great equalizer. Only one of them caught it, and it's Knocked. He backs away with that Wraith Q. So 2 brains, 1 controller. Don't full commit onto this fight quite yet. There's still plenty of opportunity. Razor, oh no. They lose out on one. Zeratricky gets taken out by Hundreds' wingman, and now the drop down coming out from the Gibraltar. Oh boy, there's so much action going across the board. LG go down. Applejacks finish them off.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for LG. Nice job by Applejacks, but Pringles, again, just stuck in a very, very tough situation. They had a decent start. Casellos also, not sure if he meant to come through and play on that Revenant. Probably needed to play Wraith there, and they're just stuck in a tough spot. Let's go see what's going on, because Stink is definitely going to be taken out here very shortly. As Zeratricky going to get the finish onto Hundreds. But Stink, no heals, not in a very good spot. Team Razor, much better spot here. And they're going to have to make the rotation. But looks like Nasky goes down. That's going to be Bowser from 2 brains, 1 controller. If we could jump back on over there to find out if that was the fight transpiring over towards this Lava Fissure side. They made a different rotation, though. And now they're getting aggressive on that knock.
Oh, you had someone right in front of you, and so you have to be careful as he takes the port pawn back, reconnecting with his squad. And it looks like the third party might be coming in for Cooler, quite possibly, unless that was an aggressive angle being held by one of the Cooler members, but losing out on Nasky. Kind of sucks for them, as Applejack's now fighting up against Sentinels here. And a knock on to Retzi with that wingman is Kenny. Is Cooler, yeah, they are missing out on Nasky. Dell, looks like they were able to at least recover his banner, but they are backing away and getting shot behind as Yuki and Dell are trying their best to recover. Sola Fide coming in for the third party up against that Applejack's fight and Sentinel's fight, as Retzi does get thirsted off as well. 2 brains, 1 controller in the fight up against Liquid, as Liquid might have been the third party getting involved in this, as Sola Fide making the rotation on up north. We do have information on the ring now. A lot of the hot springs in. Sola Fide here running the south side of this ring. So we have the ultimate going down, the Gibraltar ultimate. TSM are trying to recover, and it looks like Imperial Halo is committing onto this horizon here as they're trying to get the res onto Snipe Down. He is brought back up. We'll see if they have a moment to breathe. Snipe Down hitting the bat. There is a Gibraltar bubble on the other side, but that's a big, massive shot coming out from Reps as he wants to give chase, but now he gets cracked himself, and he does take one down. That's going to be Madness, but throughout all of that, Backslon will get a re-knock onto Imperial Howl, and Reps is sitting on 1 HP. Just one
quick shot, and he will go down. Snipes down, answers back, taking out Frex, but CLG will continue to barrel forward and take out TSM. It's actually Liquid coming in for the third party now. And so much is going on. CLG getting punished here. They're going to lose out as they want to finish off these Thirsts. There's Madness, there's Vax, and Frex all gone. Before the first ring even finishes closing, we are now down to 14 squads remaining in game number 6.
It's been a fast-paced day, and it's a fast-paced game here as usual. Crust is going to get knocked. 303 is really going to love the fact that a lot of these top teams like Third Impact have been taken out. Applejacks has been kind of playing spoiler here. Solifide coming in through with some nice flanks. Looks like the Loba Q has been popped. Tempest and Team Intel on the rocks as well, as he's going to try to bust out this res instead of going for the bubble res, as that bubble is going to go away. Rockstar getting aggressive over towards the side. They should be able to clean this one up. Pickett gets the knock, but looks like they do finish that off, and that is going to be Applejacks. So Applejacks, while they were playing spoiler for quite some time, they get taken out. And I'm curious why Pickett's on Crypto and not on Mirage there.
Might be a little bit envious there. Solifide, though, they've been involved in a massive fight. I believe Applejacks and Sentinels were here. But Solifide, the ultimate victors, they'll be able to get the res onto Designful until the third party comes in. Gold bag res, though, will get Designful right back into things, as now he does pop that cell for himself. And maybe things slow down. Nope, they will not. Kenny getting finished off there, as Solifide trying to make a last game resurgence in game number 6, and now they will be able to fully recover and heal up. 13 squads remaining with 34 players left. Half the lobby almost gone. 2 brains, 1 controller in a fight up against Na'Vi, and it's just BM after BM coming up from everyone here. Kuya getting finished off by Noct.
And Noct just sends it down into the lava because he wants to heal, most likely because that armor swap wasn't that strong, and he's probably fairly close to getting it over towards the red, because you can see the rest of his teammates are on the same pace. Very, very great job by 2 brains, 1 controller, making their way over towards lava. They didn't push into the building where the caustic was. They found an opportunity over towards cooler on the side, and now they're continuing to pick teams apart as Tech goes into his drone and tries to figure out where the rest of these players are. Maybe some rats down below that Noct could pick off. See the pings going down. And he maybe tries to hop in the portal there with the drone while he's at it.
Yeah, 2 brains, 1 controller. We know how good they are about calling the ring and knowing where it's going to end, but they just have not had the opportunity, really, to hit any of these scans. It's been team fight after team fight after team fight over here at Lava Fissure for them. And they have been able to survive. And when we saw them when they were playing over on that Frag West ending, playing over on Construction, they were just winning every single team fight. And there we go. We've got the ring information courtesy of 303 Esports, and it looks like it will just be a Lava Fissure full ending we have from them. Now controlling the south side of the zone for now. They've even got barrels all the way back far behind them. So hopefully maybe that'll be some valuable information later on down the road coming up from ASCII. 12 squads, 32 players here at Zone 2. It's looking more like a DM, maybe one of them ranked matches than we're used to at this point. But hey, I am not going to knock, of course, some faster paced games here in the final game of the night.
This is kind of how it always is, but the teams that are in the first couple of placements are trying to play it safe, especially if you're in first. 303 did a great job of picking the building that they wanted to lock down, and the zone should be ending directly in front of them. Nice portal coming in from Albarelli. He's going to connect with some big, massive shots. That door is also missing. The Caustic gets taken down pretty weak as well. Great 88 opening damage. He's not afraid to push in. This is going to be Team Rice Krispies going down to a very aggressive Team Liquid team. And look at the way Albarelli's playing this, holding his own inside of the dome. Unfortunately, taking a little bit of caustic damage, so he's going to bail on that one. But great infiltration of the building from Team Liquid, especially Albarelli with the Mastiff.
Oh, but here's the third party coming out from 2 brains, 1 controller, already losing out on Nocturnal. Albarelli holding that angle on the port, but he's getting tagged up, as we do have Nocturnal getting finished off. 2 brains, 1 controller finishing the job. Now they do have to be careful as they continue to hunt after this. And you see that bat did go off Arcstar at the feet of Noct, but he doesn't care. He continues to give chase now. 1 dropping down into the lava. He does have the ping out on someone else, quite possibly, and there it is, the Wraith in front of him will go ahead and turn his attention to Liquid Flanker. Knocked! This man is a complete animal. Barreling and knocking at the door. 98 with that massive shots, and Albralele gets finished off by Bowser. 2 brains, 1 controller. Just running through this lobby, and really no one giving them any kind of opposition so far. Can they be stopped?
That's the knock that I know. Had an opportunity to team with this guy in Shiv and had our best placement ever, a couple tournaments actually, and he's just an absolute monster when it comes down to having high sensitivity on a controller. And you could see the flick when he was able to turn around there. It almost looked like he was playing on mouse and key, but no, he is playing on controller just with a very, very high advanced look control. ALC, now Cheez-It's going to take over that building and get a majority of that loot that Albralele kind of opened up over here towards this building before the third party came through. Remember, 303 is over towards the side. Looks like you still have some edge fighting over here too. But what a third party from 2 Brains controller, having one of their best games of the day.
They really are now as Solafide. They've got 2 red armors along with the purple on Designful, and they're just trying to avoid this fight to their south for now, making their way on in, get a better position, maybe try and gatekeep the squad that is advancing on them for now. As you can see, Gentrifying spots one out to their north currently, and so they might get pinched. Decides to try and swing a little bit further to the right here. It's Crummy. This is the knock and the instant thirst onto Dell. And so I believe Cooler just down to 1 final player remaining. Yuki, we'll see where he's at in just a moment if we could check in with Cooler later on. Rockstar though, they're on the east side of this zone. They might run into Solafide in just a moment here. It was Team Razor that was giving chase to them, so maybe Team Razor trying to get a little bit of revenge onto Solafide, who cut them out on the rotations just about a couple games ago.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pick which way they're gonna go, left or right here. If they go this way, they're gonna be going through some serious trenches on the low ground, and that's not gonna be good. Great scan coming through from 2 Brains, 1 controller. They're gonna show us exactly where the zone is. They own a majority of the real estate too, so now they're gonna just make their way over towards this left-hand side and figure out which way they want to go and make their play from. They could hop in the drone here for tech if he wanted to. And the great thing about Lava Fisher is there's multiple levels. So it's great to obviously be on the top. They find a rat over towards the side. That's going to be Senox. Senox did a great job at least getting a couple of placement points. We'll see if that's going to be enough to at least secure onto second. But right now, 2 Brains, 1 controller is a team to be reckoned with. They just ran all the way to a priority spot. They're in the next zone, and there's not going to be many players that know where round 4 is going to go yet.
They just found an Ultimate Excel as well. So utility coming their way now. Bowser, he's got that defensive bombardment, and we've seen how potent these team fights can be. The EMP clearing any Gibraltar bubbles and allowing your own Gibraltar to get the defensive bombardment down. Solafide in a fight up against Paradise. He goes down first. Now they have to be careful here as they have infiltrated this building now, making their way on in. Results in not able to hit the massive shots quite yet, but that one lands. That's a 98, forcing out the Q here. They're taking a lot of damage through that caustic gas. Results in needs to get the full reset, needs his team to buy time for him, along with Gentrifying, who is hitting that bat for now. And unfortunately, Designful trying to do his team a favor will go down for his effort. And here comes the nade spam 2 going on into the building now. They back away. This isn't a big building at all, as Team Razor, they're the ones outside knocking at their doors, if there were doors. But as you can see, the nades are coming out and they're trying to slowly push in. I don't know if they got the rest quite yet, as Hakulo has been cracked. He is now down to 80 HP, burning down to that Thermite. Has another team involved in this fight as well. And Hakulo takes a lot of damage, but he's able to stick that bat. Now down to about 75 HP. It's 2 Brains, 1 controller trying to make their way on in. They need the kill points. They need to climb up the leaderboards here desperately, and they have been doing such an amazing job throughout this game. You can see Noct sitting on 2 kills, but we know they have much more than that.
What a great portal there by, I believe, Gentrifying to block off both of the doors, even though they didn't have any doors. That was an amazing play. They were able to reset inside the building there. Drone being popped, EMP is available, but he's going to elect not to use it there on the 2 Brains, 1 controller side. Nox going to hit a battery. Bowser is still in the zone here, so no worries quite yet, as this one's going to start closing in 30 seconds. Does have to use his bubble, though, so he can go and get the quick kills. as this team is starting to push up. A grenade somehow makes it through, but he's doing a great job of dodging, and is going to just completely dominate Nasky as he makes his way into the bubble. That's going to be Yuki going down too. Gentrifying going to get a knock onto Hakula because we know that Team Razor was outside their building, and again, it was Gentrifying with that amazing portal, which stopped these guys from pushing to begin with, and then they peek their heads back out and respond, taking down Team Razor. Great job by Solafide.
Yeah, Solafide now pushing forward. They've got the solo to their southeast, and they can just gatekeep now as the ring will start closing in, going for the full reset, surviving this push. It's an amazing job coming out from them. 4 kills on Resulta, and this is the Solafide we've been waiting for. Cheese it though, roaming around on the west side of the zone, on the northwest side of the zone. They've got a lot of ground to work with here. As you can see, Strictly Mask and Hambino also got purple armor, so really relatively healthy. I don't know how many fights they've been in. I've got to imagine that our economy is strong. They can poke out and start trading away damage with people if they can. Strictly's arm shield did get broken, so he doesn't go for as wide of a peak, but he spots one below him. R301 with the 3x doing a good job scouting out information. Hambino has that high ground on that building and does spot one out. Hits for 80 with that hemlock. Does back away. He's just a couple more shots away from getting the red Evo shield for himself now. But the ring will pull away down to these train tracks, into that lone train cart. Rockstar still in this, but they are stuck on the low ground. They should be able to climb up though. But the question is, will any team hear them, and do they get punished during that?
It looks like they're going to all elect to drop down. They could make their way up the rocks like you were saying, but you don't want to be the one player that's up there, so they're just going to all work together, make sure that if they need a bubble, they're going to pop that one. Cheese it now with a very long rotation, as you were saying, Jamerson, that does pull fairly across from them over towards that train track. Hambino will have his portal up at 8%, so he's just waiting for that one to come up, has the perfect opportunity to use this cover here to make his way over towards that train cart. The big question for him is, when do you go and do that portal? You want to go and get there early so you could set the caustic traps up? I think so. So as soon as that's going to come up, he should make his way after he hits a battery or a couple cells.
Yeah. Still working his way up towards a red Evo shield, along with Strictly 138 damage now. Plenty of ammo on that R301. Here is that port you were asking for, Tom. Get on in. As it looks like Hambino even makes the jump across the chasm as well. They have a rock to work off of. They've got cover. It's probably more than most teams have at this point. Now sliding on in, Solafide here trying to control this as they're going to pop that Beast of the Hunt on Designful. They spot out that port as well. They have any nades. It'll behoove them to try and throw it down. Their defensive bombardment has been used as the EMP comes in. The scan now out, coming from Designful as they back away. They understand the situation that they're in. Full 4 3-mans left in this lobby. They don't want to be the team that gets engaged upon first. They want to be the ones that take advantage of the situation now. Designful will have one last scan as they do jump on down. There's a team inside their building somehow. Resulta taking critical damage. He's down to 1 HP. It's Bowser, 2 brains, 1 controller, but they've traded away. Now it's all up to Nox once again, as he does have the Nox shield to try and use to heal up now with 20 HP. He is popping that bat, gets the thermite down to try and slow them down, but the Mastiff is there, and what a beautiful spray as he survives. Rockstar now are up here on the high ground. 3 teams remaining. Will he be able to get the res? And save for the lucky grace of the third party, Rockstar cannot push up onto them, and 2 brains, 1 controller might be able to full reset.
Noct is going huge there. They do get the full reset. Amazing thermite coming through. Not easy to win that up-close battle against a very skilled Solafide team, but a possible third party coming through since they are the furthest team. And we know that Rockstar was just getting into a little skirmish above them. But now we start to see this zone change, and this is going to be 1:30 for the zone to actually close here on round 6. So expect these teams to kind of take their time, get a feel for how strong each one another are, and then there's just going to use all of their utility here. So will it be the Mirage that comes through and fools everybody? We'll see on Team Rockstar.
Yeah, cheese it down to a 2-man here. They do have the caustic though. And we'll see. 2 brains, 1 controller doing an amazing job of deflecting attack after attack after attack. And they must have so many kill points under their belt now. If they can try and force Cheez It onto the low ground, force them to take that fight up against the third party, up against Rockstar now, that would be amazing. As the defensive bombardment does come down, they do have the cover to work off of Dupe with a nice angle. The shots on to that red armor again, trying to make sure that both of these teams fight up against each other. EMP comes out, and now there comes the push from 2Brains, 1Controller, and Rockstar are just biding their time. They traded away, and that is what they have been waiting for. They should be pushing up any moment now as one more person goes down. Here comes the nade spam out from Rockstar, pushing up on Team Cheez to finish things off, and Team Rockstar get the win in game number 6. But did 2Brains, 1Controller do enough to take the W overall?
They missed out on 3 points by sending it a little early into that train car, and that team fight just wasn't as clean as they needed it. It was a 2 versus 3, and they lost 2 players throughout all of that. I believe Tech was the last player alive. Nice job, though, by 2Brains Controller, pulling out numerous big team fights, big third parties, and just big brain plays in terms of setting up and just making the rotations. The timing was perfect. Unfortunately, Team Rockstar just weaseling down there at the bottom of the map comes through and cleans everything up for the win.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance coming out from all of our top teams there in the final game. But we're going to have to go ahead and take a break as we tally up all of the results. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll have the final results of tonight right after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Series E, as we had one hell of an end to the day. But before we take a look at the leaderboard, let's go ahead and take a look at one last Mobile One high performance moment of the night. As of course, we are extremely thankful to have Mobile One as one of the newest partners here for Series E. I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe we get a 10th team. I don't know. That'd be awesome to see. But we're definitely glad to have another partner here. And it was Team Cheez It's down to a duo trying their best to survive the onslaught of 2Brains, 1Controller. And here was the push. We get to see it from Cheez It's angle. Never mind swapping on over to Team Rockstar, biding their time. They know that this team fight is taking place. They're just rubbing their hands together, together, ready for the third party, Tom.
You could see the grenade just primed and waiting for this Gibraltar bubble to go down, and it waited. There was such a long time for Nox, and then they have to be so glad when they see two players from Two Brains, One Controller actually drop. That's the opportunity to come through. Crummy jumps up onto the rock, Angle's getting taken from the side, and it's just really up to Rekanishi to come through and finish that one off. So great job by Team Rockstar. And that was your mobile high performance clip of the night, and it was nice for Rockstar to finally end on a dub there.
Yeah, and so let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see who ended up on top. 303 take the victory despite the heroics coming out from Two Brains, One Controller in that final game. So congratulations to 303. This is the new roster coming out from 303, their EU roster, taking the win. So once again, EU showing up big here for Series E. Sentinels, though, a little bit of, I guess, redemption for North America. 61 points coming in second place. But again, we have Cooler Esports right there in third place with 50 points. And right now, 303 look like monsters.
Yeah, it's a little bittersweet for Sentinels because they started off the day with 40 points, right? So to only get 21 throughout the rest of the time, especially when they're playing so well, has to be a little bit disappointing, but you got to give props to 303 for the way that they played, all the EU teams, and then to Two Brains, One Controller for that great performance towards the tail end, especially after struggling on our open days, coming through with multiple subs, et cetera, et cetera. When they have their full roster, when they're in a very stacked lobby, they can really hang with the best of them. They proved that today in NA. Team Liquid, in terms of our NA teams, placing third. Team Rice Krispie Treats, in terms of our partner teams, coming through and representing with the 7th place. So all in all, very well played, and I think it was a lot more fast-paced than we expected. So I think that this meta is going to cause a lot more team fighting.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how this meta continues to develop, and we'll get a chance to take a look at it next week when we will be back for Series E on Tuesday. Like always, that's going to be our open registration night, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday, like always. So make sure you set your calendars, set your clocks for that one. That's going to do it for us. So once again, congratulations to 303 and Sentinels for taking our wins tonight in first and second place. And I want to, of course, say thank you from all of our partners and our newest partner, Mobile One, coming in big, supporting the Apex Legends scene. So thank you all so much. That's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for this weekend. Everyone, just want you all to stay safe and have a good weekend. Have a good night.